Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Careful for Spoilers. I am your host James Barnes, and today guys I'm joined once again by Aaron and Brad, and we're going to be talking about our picks for the top 10 best films of 2019, and we're going to be giving you our Oscar picks for this year's Academy Awards. First off, I want to say, Aaron, Brad, thank you guys so much for joining me on the podcast again.
Oh, thank you for having us. We are always happy to be back. I had to drag Aaron here. I'm just going to let you know that.
I'm just like, ugh, no. No, James, we're so happy to be back. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. I love having you guys on the podcast. I love talking about movies with you guys. So let's go ahead and dive in. I've been itching to talk about these movies.
I've kept my list hidden from both of you guys.
I'm very open. My grandpa cannot give Christmas presents before or after Christmas or during Christmas because he always gives them a week before as soon as he buys. I'm the same way. I've been showing everyone my list. I've been texting it to you guys. I'm like, I think about changing this.
Nope. Yeah. Mine is secret until we talk about it.
So is James's. They're both secrets.
I changed it this morning.
Same.
I rearranged like my 3, 4, and 5 today.
Yeah.
I saw Marriage Story again this morning. It's just, I can't wait to talk about that movie.
Yes.
But let's start at number 10. And Brad, I want to start with you. What is your pick for for number 10?
My pick is it's the 9th movie in a director's wonderful career, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
That is my number 10. I saw it twice. Once with my boss, and then once with my dad. But both times, I liked it better the second time because it's a movie it's not a regular movie. It's more of like an experience, and it's very slow, but in the best way. Because I loved all the characters. I loved all of the flashbacks or the different experiences they've had on set. Especially the scene where Rick Dalton is on the set of that Western.
Yeah.
And you go through the entire scene until he screws up, and it's just so funny and so interesting to watch. And I just love that experience of the movie. Not just the story as a whole, like the last 30 minutes are fantastic as well, but just everything leading up to it is just such a joy to watch.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes too. I like it, especially when they have to reset the scene.
Oh,
the camera moves and they have to do everything over again. It's so fucking cool.
What's interesting to me too is the original cut of that movie was 5 hours, and that feels like something that normally he would have cut out of one of his movies. This whole watching the Western thing, but it stayed in. It made it really interesting. Though I am heartbroken to say that is my number 11. That was what I was so torn up about. The reason is it's just some movies really tickle my fancy, and I'm like, I want to watch it, and I want to be in it, and I want to be a part of it. And that movie, I love Tarantino, but I love other Tarantino movies more, and I'm like, oh, it just didn't make the cut, because it's such a good movie, but it barely. That's what I was rearranging over and over. I couldn't, I'm like, ugh, but the other movies are the ones that if I had to pick 10 movies to be on my shelf, and only those 10 movies from this year, that movie would sadly miss the cut.
Yeah, I had to make my list based on that as well. Mm-hmm. So what is your number 10?
My number 10 is Climax. Gaspar Noé's Climax.
Oh, okay.
Really wonderful, really bizarre movie. Brad was telling me that he rewatched it last night. We were talking a little bit about it last night. The movie, the reason it's number 10 and not higher, because the second half of the movie is just brilliant. I don't know. Have you seen it, James?
I have not.
It's a brilliant movie. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it.
It's on Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime.
It's free.
The second half of the movie is just brilliant. Even pieces of the opening, but it is so non-traditional in its structure, and it's very much broken up in halves. Build up to that half. It's not like it's two different movies. It's like the first half builds up to the second half. But it's daring and it's experimental, and there are times where the experiment fails. But 9 times out of 10, the movie's brilliant, and especially once it gets going. And there's a whole lot to love. The performances are incredible, but it's just so bizarre, and I could see it turning people off. There were parts of it that turned me off, which kept it from going higher on my list, but it really is a brilliant experimental movie from a great filmmaker, and I'm glad it exists in the form that it does.
Yeah, there's so many films that I need to see right before we actually get to the Oscars. So disclaimer, before we go any further, these lists are going to be made based on the films that we saw this year.
Yeah.
So if you think that something should be on one of our lists, just know this is 1, our opinion, and 2, we haven't seen every film.
I haven't seen A Hidden Life, Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Same.
I didn't see Little Women yet. I do need to go see that.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Little Women.
I loved Little Women.
And I know Aaron has not seen 1917.
I have not seen 1917.
Because that's not available here yet.
Yeah.
James and I were lucky and got to see it early.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't know if we're going to talk about worst movies of the year, but I was telling Brad, I have not seen many bad movies this year because I knew they were going to be bad. Like I saw Cats, obviously, which was obviously just a complete beautiful abortion of a movie. But yeah, there are some. I feel like I've seen most of the movies this year, though. I've seen enough to make a list confidently, but yeah, there are a couple key players that I have missed.
Yeah. So my number 10 is going to be Midsommar.
Oh.
I know you guys aren't fans of this movie, but
I like Hereditary way more. Yeah, but go on.
Yes.
No, I agree. Hereditary
with
is a better
judging
movie.
eyes.
But I thought Midsommar was an experience, and I'm going to say that about pretty much all of the films on this list. This film was an absolute experience from beginning to end. I can honestly say I've never seen a film like Midsommar. I think it is weird.
You've never seen The Wicker Man?
God. Well, which one? Nick Cage or like the original Wicker Man?
The only one, Nick Cage.
But I thought Midsommar again was so original. I love the characters. There's some scenes that are just really, really weird. I like unsettling things. Ari Aster chooses to film scenes and doesn't pull away from them. I feel like a lot of filmmakers would see certain things that happen in that movie and it's like, well, let's just pull that away at the last second. But no, he keeps the camera on it consistently. There's moments where the characters are doing drugs and you feel like you're doing psychedelics with them at the same time. I thought that was a really unique experience. I think this director has a lot of great stuff to come in the future. Hereditary and Midsommar are incredible films to me, and that's why I had to pick it as my number 10. So Brad, I'm going to pass it back to you, unless you guys have other thoughts on it.
Ari Aster's going somewhere. It's very clear. He's not a dumb guy. He's not a not talented filmmaker. The Hereditary and Midsommar, we had issues with them, but it's not like, ugh, what a bad filmmaker. He's taking risks, he's being bold, he's being decisive. It's very obvious that he's a talented, decisive filmmaker. Midsommar, I actually liked more than Hereditary. Midsommar would probably be like my number 20. I liked it. I didn't, there were a couple key issues that really kept it from soaring, but when that movie works, it works beautifully, and I actually will be mentioning Midsommar later on my on some of my you'll see.
Okay.
All right, Brad, let me get you number 9.
Yeah,
my number 9 is Marriage Story.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that movie. It didn't. Typically dramas like that don't get to like close to my number 1 because I look for a different kind of movie in that space. But the performances alone make that movie just soar. Adam Driver steals the show entirely. Like, people are talking about Scarlett Johansson's great, but my God, does Adam Driver completely kill it?
Yes.
Agreed. Yeah.
No, he's the heart of that movie.
Yeah. And the script so natural, so I don't know, it just feels so lifelike that it's heartbreaking. It really is. It's a horror movie. It's not a drama. It is so scary.
Yeah,
it makes everyone terrified of marriage, I think.
Yeah.
See, you know what's interesting is I hear that, but it didn't make me terrified of marriage. It made me. They very obviously shouldn't have gotten married.
Well, based on that's just hearsay. We never actually saw what it was like before.
They talk about their feelings going into the marriage, and you're like, I can see why this is ending in divorce.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a brilliant movie.
Yeah, absolutely loved it. All right, Aaron, you? My
number 9 is... I want to rearrange this list, but I'm going to stick with it. My number 9, which might be higher, but I don't know. It's Knives Out. Ryan Johnson's Knives Out.
That just missed my list.
I also missed Knives Out. I need to see it.
Ooh.
Oh, it's great.
Knives Out was a funny movie because... it's funny, but it was peculiar because it reminds me so much of something that I would make myself as a filmmaker. There are a lot of things about it that just I'm like, oh man, I would do something like that. And it's really cool to see it working. It's also really nice to see him, making a good movie after completely messing up the Star Wars sequel trilogy single-handedly. But hot take. But Knives Out, it's really funny. It's not that it's different, actually. I would say, it's so different, but it calls back to an era movie that we don't see anymore. It's an old-fashioned murder mystery full of great performances. There's a whole lot to love, honestly, and I don't want to say a thing because I don't want to spoil it. I went in blind, and I think everyone else should too. I think what surprised me so much about it was that it was so funny and so endearing, and not this. I thought it was going to be this suspenseful, murder mystery, edge of your seat. It does keep you guessing. It is suspenseful, but it's really bright, really funny, and it's a very edible movie. It's an easy watch. Watch it with your family. It's the kind of movie you can watch with your whole family and really enjoy. It's just super solid all the way through.
And Daniel Craig is absolutely hilarious.
Oh, Daniel Craig is hilarious. Daniel Craig, Rosa Salazar. She was Alita. Rosa de Armas, who is the lead.
Ana de Armas.
Yeah,
Ana de Armas.
Rosa's not in that.
Goodness, I'm evil, I guess. I'm racist. I don't know. Isn't that what you say when you get a non-American name wrong? No, she was brilliant. Just a whole lot of love for that movie. Go see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Knives Out. My number 9 pick is John Wick Chapter 3. I think this is one of those rare moments where the third film, and well, it can't call it a trilogy, but the third film in his franchise is easily the best. It does everything a sequel should do, which is raise the stakes, give you more of what you came to see, and I think this film does that brilliantly. The action is incredible. That opening, well, not opening, but one of the opening fights where he kills this guy with a book, I thought that was fucking incredible. So cool. In the library. That entire fight sequence with all of the knives and everything, especially when you figure out that the knives aren't even in the scene. They're all CGI. The glass that they break is CGI. Everything is done so well. These are the best fight sequences in any movie. They're filmed so brilliantly. I had to put John Wick in my top 10. It's just an incredible movie.
I missed that one, and my parents saw it, and they're like, that was just about the most violent movie I think I've ever seen in my life. So that made me want to see it, and hearing that made me want to see it more.
I went to go see it with my dad, and we were just like, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I saw the horse race on YouTube or whatever, the horse chase, and I was like, holy shit, man.
Yes, he uses a horse as a weapon. Like, it's
no,
nuts.
I love it when he smacks the horses, and then it just kicks that guy's skull in.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so cool.
No, I look forward to seeing that one.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to see it, and I want to hear your thoughts. So, Brad, again, I'm going to pass it off to you. What's your number 8 pick?
Are we just going to keep passing it off to me?
Yes, we are. We're going in this circle, right?
I mean, James and I could just do our whole list, and we could lock you in the closet right there.
You'll just hear me in the background going,
I really liked Cats. I really liked that one. Side note, did you hear that Cats has been pulled from the Academy Screener Library? They pulled it from the Academy. There's a streaming service for voters on the Academy. They pulled Cats from it.
Why was it there to begin with?
Well, because anything that qualifies usually goes in there. So.
Why would it qualify? That's my question.
I think they were trying for best original song and best...
I think they were trying for everything until the movie came out, but... Anyway, you go ahead and...
God. Ugh.
We all know your number 1 is Cats.
Yeah,
but
well, yeah, we just had to get there, though.
Cats is my number 0.
My number 8 is a movie I thought I wasn't going to like. The Art of Self-Defense.
That's also my number 8.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. I like how we landed on the same number
there. And we saw it together.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie, but it did not make it into my top 10.
It is so us.
It is so our humor.
It's top 20 for sure, though.
Yeah. The way that Riley Stearns, he did such a good job balancing the dark comedy with like an actual heartfelt story. And I need to watch it again. I still haven't seen it since the theater, but that's how well it stuck with me and how funny it was. Aaron and I think in the theater we were the only ones truly laughing so hard at it.
We were like the rainbow belt, and the thing that the reason it's top 10 material for me is that the twists in the story. I went in blind. I had no It's like stupid Parasite.
Yeah.
Because Parasite's got these twists where you're like, wow, okay. And in Art of Self-Defense, you're like, what the fuck? That makes sense. Oh, my God. So it's exactly what a great comedy should be.
Mm-hmm. And just the way that just the foot-shaped kick mark on his dog. Remember that in the hospital?
That was so fucked up.
That is so funny.
Something happens to his dog. And it's like, who could have done this? And there's a foot-shaped kick mark on his dog, and he's like, Sensei.
And his trainer had earlier said something about how when he kicks people, it leaves a mark or something.
It leaves a mark. It's just...
Doesn't a doctor say that? Like,
Yes.
It's a doctor, too.
It was clearly done by a foot, but the marks, it's like a punch.
Oh, my God.
That's right. That's right. His kick is like a punch.
Then the rainbow belt, but the way that the sensei, just when his backstory gets fully explained, and it's never like fully, you just put the pieces together, and he's just the biggest loser.
It is honest to God comedy filmmaking at its best.
Yeah.
Everything plays out the way it should. The jokes, there are subtle jokes, there are upfront jokes, the performance from Jesse Eisenberg, and what was the guy that played the sensei?
I can't remember his name.
I'll look it up real
Goodness,
quick because he deserves
funny.
it.
He does. He deserves to be recognized because
This movie
hilarious.
was made for Jesse Eisenberg, I think.
It was. Oh my god, the scene of him crying in the car after having that confrontation with there's the scene where he has a very, very mild confrontation with a guy in a parking lot, and it cuts to him just choking, sobbing in his car from losing that. I don't want to just go see it. It honestly is so funny.
Alessandro Nivola.
Wow, I have no idea who that is, but he was so funny.
Yeah, he was in American Hustle.
Yikes.
I know him from somewhere else, but I can't place
it's
it.
one of those
He's
things
been in quite a few things.
It's one of those
smaller
things where I've
roles.
seen him.
Yeah.
No. So that is both of our number 8s.
Yes. So James, what's yours?
My number 8 is going to be Uncut Gems. This was hard. Yeah, this was hard because I wanted to put it higher, but when I think about the other films that I picked, it was hard for me. But Uncut Gems is a phenomenal film. This is Adam Sandler's best performance to date.
Yeah.
I don't think anything really comes close. Punch Drunk Love was great from the beginning all the way until the end. I don't know what to feel about this guy. It's like you're watching someone destroy their own life, scene by scene by scene, and I was literally on the edge of my seat the entire time.
I know you were.
Until it ends, and then there's this sigh of, I don't know, relief that it's just over, that I don't have to watch this guy tear apart his life anymore. During the movie, I just kept cursing at the screen because there's just dumb fucking people everywhere.
My favorite thing about, because Brad, James, and I see a lot of movies together, and my favorite thing about seeing movies with you, James, is you get angry.
I get so invested in movies.
You get very invested, but like he'll make a decision, I'll hear, oh my god, no.
I was like, you dumb fucking cunt. Like, come on.
Oh my god, it's so funny. It's like you're watching a football game. I love it. But yeah, or even like when we saw The Grudge last week, it was very bad, and I'd hear James be like, what the fuck? Oh my god.
I think Aaron heard that from both sides, because I was on the other side just losing my mind.
I kept going like this. I would stick my fist out real slow in front of Brad's face and then turn it into a thumbs down.
But Kevin Garnett, surprisingly, is incredible in this movie.
So good.
He brings so much of that character. Lakeith Stanfield, I mean, he's great in everything that he does. That guy is just so magnetic. Even in this movie, you don't necessarily like him. I find myself...
I didn't like anybody.
yeah. I mean, there's no one really to like besides Kevin Garnett. I liked him.
Yeah.
His girlfriend, I thought she was fine by the end, but I mean, nothing about her character draws me into
Adele
her.
Dazeem, or the guy he's having the affair with?
No, Julia Fox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the girl he's
Adele
having the affair
Dazeem.
with. Yeah.
Adina Menzel. But remember when John Travolta introduced her at the Oscars?
Oh,
as
yeah.
Adele Dazeem.
Not even close.
Yeah.
It was really weird to see Adina Menzel in Not Frozen. She was really nice. I'd like to see her do more.
Yeah. No. Oh man, she played such a great hateful wife.
She was, and
so
she was
funny.
They all played super Jewish characters, and she was, she just fit the role really well.
Yeah, last thing I'll say is the Safdie brothers know how to take people who haven't been in a lot of movies, and they know how to direct them. They know how to bring out great performances.
It's amazing.
Because the girl he's having the affair with, she's in like one other thing.
Yeah.
And Kevin Garnett's never been in anything. It's just it's interesting what a director can do with the right kind of people when you make the right casting choices. But Uncut Gems is my number 8. So Brad again.
Tell me what you told me about that scene with the guy they just pulled from the casino.
Oh, the scene where right after she puts in that final bet, and the guy that she's sitting next to, while she's trying to hide from the other guy, they talked to him the night before.
Seriously?
And was like, hey, you want to be in a movie? He's like, I don't know. And then they texted him later, you want to be in a movie? He's like, okay. And he was in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's it.
He's only got 5 lines, but
he was good. None of us knew that he just wasn't.
You would never know that he was just a local.
Yeah. It's insane. Well, number 7, Uncut Gems.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
So we were already talking about it. But the way that this movie weaves through this man's life with so much interconnecting material that doesn't feel like there's too much or there's too many conveniences or anything like that. It's just insane how well they weave this story. And they make you feel for Howard, even though, like, if you met him in real life, you couldn't deal with him for like 5 minutes because he's so animated and such a scumbag.
Yeah.
He did have fake teeth in Adam Sandler.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They looked like veneers.
Yeah, that's exactly. They were fake veneers because they went down to the real diamond district, and that was one of the things they noticed is everybody had veneers as like a status symbol. So like
Weird. I didn't know that was a status symbol. I thought you just got those because your teeth sucked.
No, a lot of them are, they wanted perfect teeth. So and veneers can be made out of like really nice material, like porcelain and shit, like the marble. Like
that'd be so weird to have in your mouth.
Jonathan Everett has veneers. You know that?
Yeah, wow, way to out him.
He'll tell anybody. I mean, his teeth are perfect.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But yeah.
So I had a great time with this movie. It's don't watch it if you have a heart condition because you'll die.
It's gonna be like those Disney World rides where there's gonna be like, do not watch if you're pregnant, do not watch if you have heart disease, do not watch if you
also do not watch if you don't have an attention span like the people in our theater. Like 2 people were on their phones. One of them was on the settings screen on her phone for like 5 minutes at one time.
The movie attracts a really broad audience. It attracts basketball fans, it attracts Adam Sandler fans, and it just attracts a bunch of people who are not prepared to be assaulted for 2 hours and 12 minutes or whatever.
Most definitely.
It is a very different movie, and for people like us who watch a lot of movies and understand the kind of ramifications of making a movie that's really different, it's like, oh, that's really great. But if you're just an average moviegoer, I could see how you can misunderstand it as a bad movie. Like, well, I didn't like Adam Sandler. Well, he wasn't funny, To a degree, you kind of need to know going in what you're getting into, and I think that's why our audience was so...
The cinema score was like a C+.
Yeah.
And I think for some reason, people went in thinking it was just an Adam Sandler movie.
I think I really do.
I don't know how you got that.
I don't know why
any of the marketing.
Exactly, because I'm like, the marketing shows it as a completely different kind of movie.
Yeah. But it came out during Christmas, and so it's like, oh my goodness, look at Adam Sandler movie. Let's go see it, Grandma. Come on, he's so funny. I saw him in Happy Gilmore. He's so funny in that movie. So... they're like, let's go see it. And
he does have really funny moments in the movie, though.
He does.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
100%. I mean,
but it's not like his funny moments in Murder Mystery or The Do-Over, that kind of crap.
So I just rearranged my list.
Oh,
No. My 10, 9, 8 are the same.
Okay.
So now my number 7.
It's not what I had a problem with, but okay.
My number 7. That's what we're on, right?
Yes.
Is Marriage Story.
Okay.
This one has hopped around from number 2 to number 7, and I don't know where it's going to land.
Also, it went down for you.
It went from 2?
It's not that it went down. It's that other movies went up.
Oh, gotcha.
Wow. Okay.
The thing about Marriage Story is it is such a meat and potatoes like drama, and it's like, yes, very serious. I'm watching it with a serious face. Yes. It's incredible. It's so incredible. Adam Driver carries the movie. Incredible. Laura Dern deserves all the praise she's getting. Everyone's going, oh, Scarlett Johansson. I actually thought Scarlett Johansson was the weaker link in the movie.
Interesting.
The thing is, I mean, the weaker link, it'd be like looking at the Patriots and being like, which player is the worst? I'm like, they're the Patriots. They're all good. It's like... you have these heavyweight actors. They're all amazing. Scarlett Johansson gives an award-worthy performance. She should be nominated for Best Actress. But you've got Laura Dern and Adam Driver just lifted a little heavier than her. But Laura Dern does this beautiful... I think people don't understand why a performance like Laura Dern's are getting nominated, but it's so hard as an actor to be likable, understandable, and hateable like she is. I know why she's being hateful. I don't hate her for it, but I hate her for it. But I hate Scarlett Johansson for making it. Is such a complex little character. She does a lot with a little, and it's just a brilliant script. It's a brilliant script. The fact that I saw it and I thought it was improv, and then none of it was improv, I was like, holy shit. It is such a beautiful portrait of something so real. But it's, the reason it's lower on my list is because it's not like, wow, movie magic, I want to watch this every year for the rest of my life. I could die without seeing the movie again. But the movie was such an incredible experience that it had to be on my top 10. So insightful and so full of perspective. So shout out to that scene where Adam Driver screams at Scarlett Johansson's face, every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. That whole thing.
I have a lot to say about that scene when I get to it. But on the topic of improv, I've heard that director does not let his people improvise at
not at all.
Do what's on the page, and that's it.
Based on his pages,
I was gonna say, when you're that
stick with it.
It's like Quentin Tarantino. He doesn't let anybody but Sam Jackson improvise.
What an honor for Sam Jackson,
right?
I know. Well, Sam Jackson's been working with him since the beginning, so
that's true.
He knows Tarantino. So, but yeah, very interesting.
So my number 7 pick is going to be Jojo Rabbit.
That just missed my list.
I don't know
really?
why I gasped. Yeah, missed my list.
Oh man, I loved Jojo Rabbit.
Good. Yeah.
It is very good.
I did not know what to expect. I saw the trailer one time, the first trailer, and I didn't want to see anything else on purpose. I went in and I cried in that movie. I think it is heart-wrenching. I think it's really funny. Taika definitely has a style, and it works, and it comes really through in this movie. Scarlett Johansson is great in this movie.
Yeah.
I love the kid. The kid is my favorite part of the whole thing.
No, he's
just so good. And his relationship between him and the Jewish girl, I thought their relationship was really interesting because he's been pretty much taught his whole life to hate Jewish people and see them as monsters or people who are not Nazis, apparently. And when he meets this girl, he starts off hating her, but then when he gets to actually know who she is and realize that, oh, this is just another person, I thought that story came through really well. Taika did a really good job with everything in this movie. I wanted Jojo Rabbit to be a little bit higher, but again, it's just one of those situations where everything else was just a little bit better.
Yeah. Or maybe resonated with you. Like, that's the thing, too.
Yes.
Is it's like Jojo Rabbit is inarguably an excellent movie. It just missed my top 10 because other movies resonated with me more for one reason or another. Jojo Rabbit is fantastic. You definitely have to know what you're getting into, though. I was so thrown off when I saw it because I had seen Hunt for the Wilder People and What We Do in the Shadows. I'm a big Taika fan, and Thor Ragnarok, and so I was just really surprised to see that this had a more dramatic undertone. But if you're prepared, it's a fantastic movie.
He balanced the comedy so well.
But what was so amazing about that movie is that it normally with drama comedies, it's like the comedy is like kind of funny. It's nothing like laugh your ass off funny. But this goes from being like a very serious story about anti-Semitism to laugh your ass off funny. Like when Hitler jumps out the window. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my God, there's just so many moments.
Every scene with him, it's you're laughing out loud. It's just so funny.
And then like the kid with the rocket launcher, and you're just like, this is a serious drama about anti-Semitism, and then there's a kid with a rocket launcher, and then there's Hitler jumping out the window, and so it's,
and it doesn't take away from the message.
No, and the movie is really special for that, but I can see how it wouldn't work for some people. But it's good pick.
And all the and one of my favorite things about that movie is I almost said I forgot the kid's name. Jojo. Aaron's about to cough up water. But Jojo, when he makes those fake letters to the girl, those were so heartwarming near the end. Like, that was so beautifully written. Yeah, I wish that was on my list, but again, it's these things that I can't definitively say it's better. It just resonated with me more. Yeah, That's it.
I really love when directors do set up and pay off really well, and it's not cheap. The shoes. His mom's shoes, you keep seeing them throughout the film, and then I don't want to give it away for people who haven't seen it, but it hit me really hard.
That hit like a truck.
It's just crazy how you can go, though, from kid with a rocket launcher to a moment like the shoes moment.
And it works.
And it works. It's just really impressive stuff. Yeah. I'm liking it the more I talk about it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's fantastic. Yeah. But are we on 6
Yes,
now?
let me get your number 6.
Cool. My number 6, Dr. Sleep.
Nice.
Ooh,
Dr. Sleep just missed my top 10.
Really?
Wow.
I loved it.
I loved it too. I'm so happy to hear that's on someone's list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pissed it didn't make it in, but
same.
No, that was always in like the middle of my list. It moved like slightly, but it was always there. Just because I love Ewan McGregor's performance as Annie Torrance. Like, it's fantastic.
The little girl is really good too.
Yeah,
Abra, she's amazing.
Well, Mike Flanagan is phenomenal with child actors. He's proven that with Oculus and Haunting of Hill House. Mm-hmm. So I was not surprised he got a really good performance out of her. Yeah. And that's not even taking anything away from her. She's great. But yeah, so are you pulling it up right now?
On Rotten Tomatoes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I'm glad to see the audience score is high.
Yes.
It's an 89 audience score, a 77 critic score.
I know there were a lot of, like, maybe like a vocal minority of people that, like, really didn't like it because it wasn't like the original Shining. It was a bit more mainstream and easier to kind of digest. And I'm like, I didn't want another Shining. I wanted someone else's take. And Mike Flanagan mixed his own style with Kubrick's style perfectly.
Yeah. And the book.
Yeah, and I didn't read the book, but I'm sure he did.
I'm sure he did or you did?
He did.
Well, of course he did.
No, not read the book. Like, I'm sure he mixed it well.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure he read the book, maybe, while he was writing the screenplay. But I really enjoyed the drama mixed with the scares, because it was legitimately, like, very unsettling.
Yes, it was.
And it didn't do, those... Mike Flanagan doesn't do, like, these stupid jump scares. Like, if there's a jump scare, it's well done.
Some chutzpah.
And the entire final sequence in an Overlook, I just had a blast.
Oh my god, yeah.
It was so good. But yeah, that one, just I want to watch it again and again.
Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson's great as Rose the Hat. Oh man, is she terrifying in every way?
Yeah, absolutely.
God, that movie was really good. I'm really sad it didn't make my top 10, especially because Gerald's Game and Hush, 2 of his other movies, did make my top 10 in previous years. Ugh, man, shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
It was a really good year for movies.
My number 6 is Uncut Gems.
Okay.
What more is there to say?
Uncut Gems would have been like number 2 had it not been so long.
I didn't feel that.
I didn't feel that.
I did. I'm sitting there and it started to get repetitive. But it's so brilliant. Like, who cares?
I didn't mean to cut you off, but
go for it.
For me, I think for the director to just constantly hit you over the head with the same thing, I think he wanted to get they wanted to get something out of the audience. They wanted you to feel drained at the end of it. So the length of it actually worked to how much I love the film itself.
That's a really good point.
That's a very good point, and I can't argue with it.
I'm sorry you're wrong, Aaron.
I'm sorry. I could just see it's just like 10 minutes shorter, just like 10. But it's still brilliant. And on the subject of Kevin Garnett, the brilliant performance from Kevin Garnett, it is very rare for an athlete to do a performance and not make a fool of themselves. No athlete has really given a top caliber performance like that I can think of.
Not off the top of my head.
No, they're normally in kids movies or in comedies or whatever.
It's hard to tell sometimes.
But for this random basketball player, I didn't know who he was, to waltz onto this movie. I thought he was
very famous.
Oh yeah, I've since learned that. But I just thought he was an actor. I'm like, oh, this guy's really good. I'd like to see him in more movies. He's tall. He's got a great look on camera. And then like, oh, he's really a basketball player. I'm like, what the fuck? The Safdie brothers are really good at working with actors like that. But just little things like that through the movie really let it soar. It makes it feel so real. Adam Sandler is so good, obviously. But yeah, we've covered all the bases on it. It's a great movie.
Well, and the intro and outro, or like that psychedelic.
Oh my god, the psychedelic colonoscopy. That's my band name, Psychedelic Colonoscopy. No, there's a whole lot to love. I mean, honestly, it's one of those movies. I think it's going to be one of those movies that becomes like a classic amongst movie lovers.
I hope so.
I mean, like, Good Time has become that. Like, already.
These guys are like indie movie making rock stars.
Yeah.
The Safdie brothers.
I'm stoked to see what they do next.
I do too. They're a little bit like Ari Aster, where I'm like, okay, I've seen you. I want to see something different now. I want to see, like, what else can you do?
Yeah.
Lot to love.
Yeah.
All right, James.
So my number 6 pick is going to be Marriage Story. God, is this movie emotionally draining. I think Adam Driver gives an incredible performance. Scarlett Johansson does a great performance. Their chemistry is great together, in my opinion.
Yes.
When they have that fight in the house where Adam Driver is yelling at her, and he just falls to his knees crying, and he just says, "I'm sorry." I started crying. It ripped me apart. And it's like, they want to be civil, they want to be friends, but then when lawyers get involved, and it's like, well, I can get you this, I can get you this, and well, this is what they're gonna do, so this is what we're gonna do to counteract that. The lawyers help destroy what is even left. You know what I mean? And I feel like this film could have gone the Hollywood route. And when I say that, it could have been a very generic movie where it's like, oh, well, one of them had an affair, even though Adam Driver did have an affair, but their divorce is about so much more than that. I feel like a regular Hollywood movie would just be like, oh, someone had an affair, this is why they're having a divorce, and we're going to have a bunch of drama scenes, whereas like she walks in on him, or vice versa. I just felt like it could have gone in a completely different direction, and this was handled with respect. It felt like the director actually studied people and studied marriages.
Well, he went through a divorce.
I didn't know that.
When he studied divorces as well. Before making the movie.
It's like, because it's a movie doesn't mean that it has to be overly dramatic, and it doesn't have to have all of these stupid moments that would happen in other movies centered around this story. So I really respected that.
The argument scene is my single favorite scene of the year. I saw it and I couldn't believe that something that real could exist on camera. Like, truly and honestly. It's something like that is so rare. The movie's brilliant, but that argument scene is such a rare thing.
It takes a lot. Well, because coming from a filmmaker's perspective, like it takes a lot for me to cry at a movie because it's hard to separate my brain from like technique and everything that they're doing. But if I remember correctly, I think that one made me tear up a bit. I think that's. I'm looking at my list, and I think that's the only movie that did that.
Let's see.
Yeah,
I cry really easy.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
But if I want to, I don't hold it back. So
my number one made me cry. But yeah, I'm the same way. If I'm gonna cry, I except that one time.
Man, my number one. I can't say my number one made me cry. My number one made me go. The whole movie. We'll get there.
Yeah, Cats.
No, Cats made me cum.
Oh God, no.
Right there in the theater, involuntary.
Wait.
I just sat there, meow.
Aaron, I was next to you, and I don't. Is that what that sound was?
Yeah, that's why I kept meowing.
Okay.
All my meows. Every time they went and hissed, I came.
Anytime James Corden made a fat joke.
Every time James Corden made a fat joke, I lost 3 pounds.
So, speaking of my number...
You know your movie is bad when Rebel Wilson is one of the best actors.
Oh, God.
Because you know what? She can really work. Like in Jojo Rabbit.
She was in it for like 5 seconds.
But she was really funny.
She was funny, yeah.
Like I could... I'm not some of the best jokes.
Yeah.
Rebel Wilson's such a mixed bag because sometimes she's so... I feel like people use her wrong. You know what I mean?
I agree.
You know?
I thought she was really good in The Hustle.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I thought she was so funny.
Wasn't that movie Wait, wasn't the movie awful, though?
I didn't think it sucked.
Oh.
I thought it's fine.
I don't know. I just saw Anne Hathaway trying to do a British accent again, and I couldn't do it.
It was fine.
Yikes. After one day?
And hell, even Les Miserables. But didn't she do a fake British accent?
No. Maybe. I don't know. She was so good in that movie.
Yeah. The rest of the movie
Les Miserables is awful, and I love her performance. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're on 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5, we've already talked a little bit about it, but after watching it again, I love this movie, Climax. I want to say his name right, Gaspar.
No.
Okay. He's one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. Like, there's movies like Irreversible, Enter the Void, Love. No matter if it's, which all of his movies are self-indulgent. That's kind of what he's about. He wants his movies to be divisive. He wants them to get a strong reaction, which he always gets. And he's so unique. Every time you see just a single shot or a single, even sequence of one of his movies, you know it's him.
I would argue he's one of the most unique filmmakers.
Oh, absolutely. I'd say he's, if not the most.
Yeah, I think about him and Von Trier. And
oh my gosh, yeah, he's inspired by Von Trier as well.
Yeah.
He's mentioned that before. But Climax is just such a unique experience because it's. The movie starts off with this excellent dance number. It's the only one in the movie that's choreographed, which is what I read online. The rest of them are improv.
Yeah, the dialogue is all improv.
Which goes into some of my other stuff later. But and it's the music choices are excellent because the music is pretty repetitive, but you don't mind it at all because it's so catchy and you love seeing the energy that's brought out in these. All of them are not professional actors except for one, Sofia Boutella. She's the only actress in the group.
Who is so good.
So good.
Neurotic as all hell.
Mm-hmm. And the way that he can pull performances like that out of so many non-actors in such a short period of time. It was filmed in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
It was. I think the entire process from writing to being edited was 4 months.
Yeah, which is bizarre because normally he takes so long on his movies. And this one
he wanted it to be in time for one of the festivals, I think.
And he wanted the movie to have that spontaneity to it,
right? And just the cinematography is just excellent. The way that they can move the camera and catch everything they need to.
It's like the best looking ugly film I've ever seen.
It really is.
Because it's ugly, but it's not about the look, it's about the movement.
Yeah. And even like when we go past that dance scene and we kind of get into more of like the conversations between the characters where it kind of like the movie blinks. Like it does like a split second of black and goes to another shot.
Yeah.
And I like that because it's like you're kind of peeping into a conversation you're not supposed to be hearing. And that's where they kind of start some drama with each other. You can tell there's some There's some problems there, and then it goes from there, and it becomes just chaos. And one thing I loved is that they get spiked with LSD.
Yeah, that's what the movie is about. It's a dance troupe. It's a dance troupe celebrating their final performance of the year.
And it's a lock-in because it's a snowstorm.
It's a lock-in from snowstorm. Someone spikes the punch bowl with a megadose of LSD.
But we never see what they're seeing. All we see is people going nuts.
Yeah,
okay.
Which is, I think, the single biggest
It's the scariest part of it.
Oh, my God.
And I love this movie. It's amazing.
Midsommar's been getting a lot of praise because it's like, wow, that's really what it's like to trip on acid, the visuals. And the tripping scenes in Midsommar are actually really excellent. Mm-hmm. But what I love so much about Climax is exactly what you're saying. These characters will go up to paintings and just, like, grasp at it, and you don't see what they're seeing. Your mind
has to fill it in. Mm-hmm.
And it just...
That's cool.
Well, in my mind, too, it makes me not want to do drugs. I think that's kind of the point.
They had a really bad batch.
They had a mega dose of LSD.
That's horrible, yeah.
What's so interesting about that movie, too, is it's the only movie where I'm glad nothing got resolved, like in terms of the characters, because what happens is they set up the entire character dynamic, they set up the entire dance troupe, and they're like LSD, and now that you know that, these scenes are so great, so intimate, but nothing needs to be wrapped up other than this megadose of LSD. That becomes the plot.
There's a few that kind of do.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
but
of course it's not nothing. But
yeah. I totally get what you're saying there.
Just so brilliant. God, so good.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Little Women.
Okay, what's yours, James? No, I'm just kidding. I've never seen it.
Little Women is made with so much care, love, and attention to detail. It is so alive, and it is so beautifully directed. I mean, I couldn't even describe it because it's one of those things where you think, oh, it's just a generic little period piece. But it's just so perfect. The way it jumps through time, and it takes these risks and succeeds. It jumps through time, and it sort of has like a false ending, and then it has two endings. It forks off into two endings that happen at the same time. And then you have actors who they play themselves at like 15, then they play themselves at like 20. It's just... I almost don't even know how to describe it. It was one of those things where it caught me so off guard. It's so real, and one of my other movies on my list that's up higher, it made me understand what it must be like to have a lot of sisters. It made me feel like I understood what it was like to live in that time period and be a young woman in that time period and to live in the American Civil War. And it's just so beautiful. Every moment is made with such care and detail. Just imagine, it's a perfect little gem of a movie. You hold it and it just feels perfect, and the problem with perfect movies is that they can never quite... Climax is hilariously imperfect. Not hilariously, but it's so imperfect, and that's what makes it so brilliant. So a perfect movie, it cannot reach certain heights because it's so perfect, like Whiplash or Spotlight or something like that. It's so perfect, it doesn't take any bold enough risks to really hit that above number 5 point.
Like, I hear you.
Yeah, like
Spotlight.
Spotlight.
But this one, that's what's so amazing about this one, is that it does take risks and it stays perfect. And for that reason, it's a movie I'll be thinking about for a long time. Really touching.
I forgot to ask you about it. Is Emma Watson good?
She's not good.
Average?
Yeah, she's the weakest link, but her character's really great. Her character's really great, and her character also. It's mainly about Florence Pugh and Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah, I've heard nothing about Emma Watson.
Are just
powerhouses.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a big man. They are the acting equivalent of that. They are just these buff, just like they're just lifting these. But what's so great about it is they're these actors who could be doing this heavy marriage story type stuff, and they're applying that to being a young girl in the Civil War. So it's met with such a level of care and detail that it's so cool to see brilliant actors just coasting, but not in a. It's not like they're not trying. No, they're trying very hard. That effortlessness is because they're such good actors, but it feels so effortless. The whole movie feels like breathing. It was over before I knew it, and I didn't want it to be over. I really have nothing but amazing things to say about this. I'm really happy to see Greta Gerwig continue to succeed.
Check it out.
The trailer makes it seem like it's this like feminist, sort of girl power movie. It's not. It really isn't.
I didn't really get that, but I mean, from the things that they talk about in the trailer, it's like, well, it's just stupid. Like, if someone writes a good story and someone reads it, and then he's like, well, when do you get married? It's just stupid.
It is. And in the movie, it's they succeed despite it, and it's, I don't know. It's just, I think all I think everyone should see that movie. And that's what's so great about it, too. It's like I was saying about Knives Out. It's a movie that everybody should see, and a movie everybody can love. It's like Forrest Gump. Everybody loves Forrest Gump. Everybody loves Shawshank. And that's what this reminds me of. It's one of those movies that everybody can see, and everybody should love. Or not should love, but will love.
So my number 5 pick is going to be Us.
Okay, my number 4.
I fucking love this movie. Jordan Peele is a genius. I think everything that this guy thinks of is just genius. I love that this movie is about classism, and he found a really unique way to show that in a film that's really entertaining from beginning to end. I know you guys feel a little bit differently, but I absolutely love it. Lupita Nyong'o is amazing in this movie. Winston Duke is literally the parallel opposite from M'Baku. Like, it's just, he does it so well.
That's
I love
true,
that.
yeah.
I love that some of the sets, it feels like it was made smaller just so he can look like this big dumb idiot
That is true.
sometimes. I love the parallels between the characters. I didn't see the twist coming at the end, really. I thought something completely different. So when it does happen, it just brings everything full circle. Jordan Peele has this unique ability in his films that every time you see them again and again, there's something else that you notice. There's something else to appreciate, something else that elevates the film. And I've seen Us like 3 or 4 times now, and it's just better and better and better every time I see it. This is a little spoiler for the Oscar section, but it better win Best Original Screenplay, or else I'm gonna riot. Just like I said with like Get Out, if he didn't win for Get Out, I was gonna lose my fucking shit.
I'm
and I
glad he
think
won
he
for
should
Get
win
Out.
again.
Yeah, I don't think he's even like
He's not in discussion.
in the discussions for it. Honestly,
No,
I haven't
for
seen
nomination.
it.
It doesn't make sense to me.
It makes complete
Makes
sense to me.
Okay, so Brad and I, Us is actually on my worst of the year list.
It's on mine too.
So this is
Fuck you both.
so, but
It's pretty
that is
low on it,
but that
yeah.
is a testament to the movie. You know, to end up on someone's best of and to end on someone's worst of. A movie that it's not passively bad. It is decisive, and it is deliberate, and it is stylish, and it is on purpose. And for that reason alone, you can't. It's not a bad movie, you know. So as much as we hated it, the reasons we hated it are the reasons other people love it, and so. What you're saying is completely valid. And on top of that, I actually think you're very right about how one thing that Jordan Peele is particularly good at is rewatchability. His movies are like puzzles, and I do admire that. And Us was directed, actually, the directing on Us was actually better than Get Out's. Like, directing in terms of camera blocking, actor movement.
The cinematography was a lot better.
Well, and some of those kill scenes were pretty awesome, like in the house with Tim Heidecker and Elizabeth Moss, or on the boat. You know, there are things to like in Us, so I'm not just going to blindly bash it. It is one of those things that it is divisive. I mean, the audience score is like a 60, you know. And it's for that reason. People love it or hate it. And I think there is something worth mentioning about that. So yeah, I respect that. I respect that. I respect the wrong opinion that you hold.
Brad, what's your number 4?
Number 4, what is it? Oh yeah, Joker.
That's my number 4 too.
Okay. I love this movie.
How can you not?
Well, I mean, it did inspire me to like go out and like kill people.
It inspired me to be an incel. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why don't people love me? But no, I really enjoyed this movie. This Joaquin Phoenix's performance obviously is phenomenal.
Oh God.
It's so... Every performance in that movie is great, and I was not expecting that from Todd Phillips at all. Like, we were talking about in our review of it.
Yeah, where did that
out of
come
nowhere?
From? Yeah, I know. Like, you see that movie and you're thinking, where does this come from?
Yeah.
I can't help but think that it just Joaquin. They pulled things out of each other. They really must.
They talked about
that.
They
must be yin and yang, you know, because they're both at their best, and it's like they must have really. It sounds like they really pushed and challenged each other because they're both kind of hard-headed guys, and so they really seem to bring each other to the next level.
Yeah, but every moment in that movie is important. Like there's no dead air. It doesn't feel like it's like rushing or the pacing is too much. It's just perfectly edited, perfectly put out. Like it's
also a brilliant example of how to do comedic relief. There's the comedy relief is at such perfect times, and it's such a release. They call it relief because that movie needs it because it's so dark. Like Uncut Gems, isn't dark. You're just watching this guy fuck up his life, which is it's a great movie, but it's a different kind of. So you don't really need, and they still have the comedic relief. But in Joker, what's amazing is you're like upset and you're tense and it's negative, and then boom, he runs into the hospital door and you're laughing. You know? Really a brilliant movie.
Yeah, and the way it all accumulates at the end with the Franklin Murray. Was that his name, Franklin Murray?
Just Murray. I don't know.
Okay,
I
think it is.
Murray.
Yeah, Murray. Oh man, the way he does his voice.
That scene. It's very rare that we get scenes that are immediately iconic, and the scene on the Murray show is immediately iconic. Another amazing thing about this movie is what it had to live up to. It had to live up to Joker. It had to live up to the DC universe and the comics. It had to live up to
its R rating. Like people had expectations with the R rating.
Well, and it had to live up to Heath Ledger's performance in a way. There are very few actors who.
Jared Leto actually kind of allowed that to not be a big issue. Honestly,
that's true. But I mean, walking in, you have to be intimidated by the legacy that this role has. And the fact that Joaquin could very well win the Oscar. After Heath Ledger won the Oscar, it's like this role is, and Jack Nicholson's incredible performance in the 90s Batman movies as the Joker, Mark Hamill, it's a role with such a legacy. It's becoming like a Shakespearean thing. It's becoming like playing the Joker is becoming like playing Othello or playing Henry V or something like that. And to see Joaquin nail it was really incredible and bring his own thing to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's our number 4. What's yours, James?
What is your number 4?
My number 4 pick is going to be Avengers Endgame.
Ooh, another one that just missed the list for me.
It's hard. It's very difficult for superhero movies to get on there.
It is.
But I totally get it.
They're good for a totally separate set of reasons. You know what I mean?
But
no. It's a great.
Go on.
I
want to
hear this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's my third favorite comic book movie of all time. Well, actually, number 4. But it is. And
what are your top 3?
Top 3.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be a spoiler.
Okay.
But I think Endgame is everything that I could possibly want from a comic book movie. One, it's a comic book movie. I love the characters in it. I've spent so much time with these characters, 10 years of time with some of these characters, and it's a heist movie. I love heist movies. It is a time travel movie. I love time travel. These are all the things that I'm absolutely obsessed with. So to see all of that come together into this one movie, it's 3 hours long. There are no lulls to me. I feel like everything is brilliantly paced. I feel like the story is well told. The Russo brothers did an incredible job wrapping everything up in this Infinity Saga. It's just a great movie. I could talk about it for years.
Maybe this should be on my top 10.
It's such an incredible movie. Chris Evans is the best he's ever been as Captain America. Robert Downey Jr., everyone just brings their A game to this film, and when it ends, it leaves me with fulfillment. I'm looking forward to what's coming in the future. I just feel like it's a really, really well done film.
Everyone brings their A game. I would say Brie Larson brought her B- game.
That's fair.
Not even that.
I don't think.
No, I'm just.
I think this is just my personal thoughts. I think she's really good as Captain Marvel for what she brings, but she shot her scenes for Endgame before Captain Marvel, so she was still figuring it out.
She's worse in Captain Marvel than she is in Endgame.
You think so?
Captain Marvel is like my number 3 worst movie of the year.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
I hated
Captain
Marvel. I didn't see it because you hated it so much.
Well, I don't want to say I was dragged to it, but my old boss, he wants to take his team out to see he loves Marvel movies. So I'm like, okay, I'll go.
Sounds like you were dragged to it.
Not dragged. I could have said no, but I wanted to go and just hang out and all that. But I was angry the whole time. Just not even the whole she's too strong for a woman. None of that bullshit.
No.
It is I think it's a broken movie. I think it's horribly written and directed. Which we're talking about worse movies now, but I thought she was. I don't know if to blame her or not, because the directors had almost done nothing before. They did a few small things, but nothing on that scale, and you could tell they struggled hard.
Yeah.
And I just don't get how anyone could think that movie's remotely acceptable, but whatever.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You don't get how anyone could think that the movie is remote. It's a big sentence.
I think it's broken. It's like The Grudge. I don't see how anyone could think that's a good movie.
Yeah.
Well, there are fundamental things that a movie needs to do, and it just doesn't do it.
My issues with Captain Marvel is I feel like the themes of the film I've seen before, and I've seen before in the MCU.
And done better. So that's where
also,
I had my issues with Captain Marvel.
If your big pull is going to be a female superhero, that can't be the only... Like, Wonder Woman was amazing. Wonder Woman was so good, and so if you're gonna try and like, well, she's a woman superhero, don't you like it? It's like, I've already seen that. Now I want something different. I want new. Like, give me something. I don't know.
I want a character I like, and I
feel like they were banking on like, well, but she's a woman superhero too much.
They obviously were.
Which in Wonder Woman they didn't do that, and
no.
Wonder Woman's really, really, really excellent. You know.
I don't like the third act very much, but up until that, I mean, it is what it is.
The third act isn't Patty Jenkins, so it's like it's a different movie at that point.
It kind of betrays its own own meaning to it, but that's 2017 that we're talking about now.
What is your number 4, James?
I already gave you mine.
Yeah, it was Avengers.
Oh, duh. Brad. Ooh. Okay, so now we're in the top 3. These are your top 3 favorite movies of the year. These are the movies that you'd live and die for. I'm very curious because I thought a lot of these movies... Because, I think I know what's going to be in all of our top 3s. Brad, what is your number 3?
I can't think of what you think. Don't say it. Lords of Chaos.
Ooh.
Another one that I missed. I need to see it.
I'll let you borrow it.
Sweet.
I own it. So, we watch it. Just for me personally, I'm a huge fan of metal, like heavy metal. And that's what all this movie is about, is the start of the Norwegian or Polish? Norwegian. I always get them mixed up.
Racist.
It's either white or whiter, dude. But it's the start of the black metal movement with the band Mayhem. And, I'm not a big fan of Mayhem because the things they do in this movie are kind of atrocious. But it's a real life story of, I always forget the names too. It's a lot of weird names. Euronymous. That's it. And his kind of journey from just being a fan into creating this heavy metal group that starts like a movement, a really bad movement. It's kind of what Joker thought he was doing, except this one they actually did it with burning down churches in Norway and
fuck, seriously?
And, it's metal.
It's one criminal particular at the center. I forget his name. Varg.
Yes.
Varg. There's this movement. There's this band Mayhem. They've created this genre of black metal. And since I'm jumping, I'm going to go ahead and say that my number 2 was Lords of Chaos.
I think I remember seeing your list.
My number 2 is Lords of Chaos. I love it. And what it is it's true crime at its most unique and its very best. It is moving. It is emotional, and it is a huge journey. It is frenetic, and yet it is serene at times. And it's Rory Culkin's performance is so good at the center of it. He's
phenomenal.
Incredibly sympathetic. And the thing that's amazing about his performance in particular is his evolution, the way they're able to age him, the way they're able to make him more mature, and to see his character evolve. What it's about, it's this guy, he starts this band Mayhem and this movement of Norwegian black metal, and for him it's all fun. Being extreme, being shocking, it's to make a point, it's for fun, and then someone takes it seriously. Varg takes it seriously. So that before you know it, they're burning down churches, people get killed.
Varg is, at first he tells Varg off because he's wearing like a Scorpions thing, and he's like, that's not real metal.
He's like, that's not real metal.
Stop talking to me. And then Varg completely changes his entire getup and actually joins the band.
Yeah.
And he pushes Euronymous further and further until it just gets way out of control.
And like Brad, the reason this movie was so high on my list is because I'm not as big of a fan of metal music as Brad, but I love music. I love music movies. I love metal music. And it just sucked me in so deep, and it sucked me into researching the topic, and it was just on my mind for weeks and weeks after seeing it. And it's one of those movies that immediately jumped to my favorites of all time list, because it is so what I'm interested in and the thing I aspire to make. It really is just, in my mind, what a movie should be and what all movies are all about. Absolutely fascinating, incredible movie that was sadly underseen, I think.
Well, because it came out in 2018, but it didn't come here until 2019.
It didn't come to the UK until 2019.
Yeah, that's why it counts for this.
I didn't even hear about it until I saw it on your list. I was like, what the fuck is that? I need to see Lords of Chaos, because metal is my favorite genre.
Yeah, you'd love it.
That would
then.
be sick.
Yeah,
it's also
fantastic.
a really interesting insight into just what it must have been like to have been partying and going crazy in the 80s with this music. I mean, it really it's just fantastic, and it's so emotional. Brad and I both love extreme cinema, and it's got these very extreme elements, and it makes those moments emotional. Normally, extremity is done for the sake of extremity or for the sake of making a point outside of the movie, like making a political point. Like, we're going to have this scene because you should be able to show this. But in the movie, it's extreme moments really work within the movie and make points within the movie and serve to tell Euronymous' story. And so it's just everything about my taste coming together into one point to really make something special.
And all of it actually, well, at least from what I know, all of it actually happened. So it's like, even like the violence in the movie is visceral. Like, it's very real. It does not feel like movie violence.
All practical effects too. I mean, really, it's just shocking.
Incredibly well done. But yeah, that is mine. I adore that movie. Aaron, what's your number 3?
I just rambled all over your number 3.
No, it's okay. You said what I was going to say.
But I'll just have to skip my number 2 then. But my number 3 is The Farewell.
Still need to see it.
That missed my list.
Yeah.
This is.
You saw it on it missed your list?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But The Farewell missed my list.
Wow, The Farewell is another example of what I like in a movie coming together. It is dramatic and it is funny, but it's also low-stakes drama, which is my favorite thing in the whole world, when they take low-stakes drama and they make it extremely high stakes and suspenseful or sad or moving. The plot is, in China, what they'll do sometimes, culturally, is if somebody is about to die and the family knows it, they won't tell the person who is dying. So grandma, for example, Nai, the character, grandma in Chinese, Nai is dying. They take her to the doctor pulls the family aside, they're like, she's dying, you can choose to tell her if you want, and they choose not to tell her. And then it follows Awkwafina's character Billy in New York, going to see her Nai for the last time. It's like, this is the last time I'm going to go to China and see Nai. She's going to die. And it's that conflict of, I don't know how I feel about this. And it's low stakes in the sense of, it's not like Marriage Story where there's yelling and screaming and there are things on the line, there's money on the line. It's like, Nai is already going to die. The conflict is, I don't know if we should tell her or not. And Zhao Xuan, who gives the performance, is that how you pronounce it?
Sounds right.
Zhao Zushen, who plays the grandmother. An incredible performance. Especially, I'm always particularly interested in performances from older actors. See, can they portray that wisdom and age and in a performance? And she's so gentle and so wise, and so it really comes across. The movie's based on a true story. It's an autobiographical movie, which is so interesting. I find that you don't see that very often, autobiographical films. But it just, after watching that movie, it just was one of those things, like, I felt like I understood for the first time what it must be like to be bicultural. You know, she grew up in China and in America. I understood what it must have been like to be in that situation. It does such a good job of putting you there. And it's so funny. That's what I didn't expect. It's so funny. It's so moving. And it's just my kind of movie in every way. Totally unique. And I couldn't recommend it enough. I really couldn't.
I was expecting like I based on the reviews, you know, critics always love this kind of movie.
No,
so I didn't know if it was just going to be one of those really emotionally manipulative movies. Which I hate.
Or like politically, you know, a movie that critics will give movies high scores because politically they like it. Oh, this movie has Chinese people, so that's diversity. We're going to give it good scores. That's kind of what I thought, but that was not the case at all. It is not even a really beautiful, brilliant movie from director Lulu Wang.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Stuff like that pisses me off, honestly. Like 12 Years a Slave. Do I think it's a good movie? Yes. Should it have won? Maybe not. And
I think it should have.
Like Crash. I don't think Crash had any business even being nominated for Best Picture. It's just like, oh, well, it covers race, so let's give it the fucking Oscar. Shit like that pisses me off.
No, and it's frustrating, too, because it takes away from movies that are actually good, like The Farewell. I think a lot of people expect it to be this, you know... Same with Little Women. I think a lot of people are expecting it to be this feminist diversity fest. If you listen to Greta Gerwig or Lulu Wang talk, it's frustrating to me when people are like, and what's it like being a woman? I'm like, they're incredible directors, who, and that's all.
Like, stop boiling it down to just that.
Yeah, and yeah, they're not political tokens. They're two directors who made two of my very favorite films of the year, and I think they should be treated with the same respect that a male director is.
Cough, cough, Ava DuVernay. Cough, cough.
Oh, man.
But my number 3 pick, this was really hard for me. It was really hard for me to pick between my number 2 and my number 3. This was where I had the most trouble swapping back and forth, and I'm fine with my list now.
Yeah, I'm in the opposite camp. My top 3 were set.
Same.
Yeah.
It was my bottom 5 that I kept switching around.
So my number 3 pick is going to be Parasite. This was really hard. Parasite is an incredible film. This film has some of the best tension moments that I've ever experienced. I remember being in the theater with you guys. We are literally on the edge of our seat when the family is underneath the table in the other family's home.
Oh my God.
And when you look around at the theater, when it's over, you see everyone sit back in this relief. It's like, holy shit. Like, that is incredible direction.
Yeah.
Being able to move a theater of people with what you're showing them on screen. The cinematography is incredible. The way that they showed classism. This is literally what it is. It's like these two there's this one scene, it's a mild spoiler, but there's this one scene where the richer family, the guy and his he's touching his wife while the other family's under the table, and he's talking to her, trying to like fantasize her about her being like this poor girl on the street or some shit, and it's just so like condescending. It's so fucked up, but it's visceral, and I like it because it's the way it was done was really well. The way he talks about the dad of the poorer family that becomes like his driver, the way he talks about how he smells and this poor people smell and all of these weird things. It's just an incredible it's just incredible storytelling. I thought this was a really, really great film. I feel like if I say anything else, I'll be giving away other points in the movie, and I feel like you really need to see it, but...
You need to go in blind.
Yeah, you really need to go in blind and just take it for what it is, but man, there were just 2 more films this year that were just it just hit me a little bit differently.
I'm very interested to hear what those are. What is your number 2?
Parasite.
Oh, okay.
Number 2 is Parasite. That movie, again, I think it's a perfect movie, but not in the way that Spotlight is, where people are going to forget about it. No one will forget this one.
Parasite is instant classic material.
Yeah, it's perfectly written, perfectly directed. The performances are all just so much fun to watch.
They are.
I don't know their names. Let me pull up their names real quick.
It's one of those things too where the performances, the reason they're not like, I don't think you're going to see any of them on the Oscars is because it's also...
I think they should. Yeah.
I do think they should. It's also tangled into the script, though. It's so tangled into the direction and tangled into the script. It's hard to determine. That's what makes it so beautiful and shiny and round movie, is where does the directing start? Where does the acting begin? Where does the script start? It's all so in sync.
Yeah.
They're all on the same page.
The 2 actors that I think just nailed it were Kang Ho Song, who played the dad. He, I think, because he's one of the 2 that really had an arc.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he pulled it off beautifully. And Woo Sik Choi, who played the son, who first got the job.
Oh, I was going to say, oh goodness, was it Yeo Jang Jo, or I think it was Yeo Jang Jo who played the
rich mom.
The rich mom.
Yeah, you got that right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, she did great too.
The housekeeper.
Again,
they're
everybody.
all everybody.
And it's hard to kind of put into words why I like this movie so much, but you put it really well, is that it's just the amount of tension that he created, especially when we have to read subtitles too. That's another thing that I just forgot while I was watching the movie. I forgot that I was reading, and I mean, subtitles don't bother me, but I think for a lot of people, they're just going to forget that they're reading subtitles, and it's such a powerful movie, and you do not know where it's going. No one can predict where this movie goes.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
No,
and
it really is. And
it's not like one of those twists where you're like, how the hell could I have guessed that?
Yeah.
This one, like, it's such a good couple twists that you're just like, oh, you love it. You love it so much.
There's so much that you just don't see coming.
And the comedy is just so perfectly balanced with its drama.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's a really funny movie. But again, like Jojo Rabbit, it does not take away from the serious moments at all, because they know how to balance it.
Yeah.
And I honestly think this is going to win Best Picture. I think it's got it.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. This is it's not my personal pick, obviously, but it's so close. But I think it could win.
That would be really cool to see.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool to see. My number 2 was Lords of Chaos, which I already talked about. So what was your number 2?
My number 2 is what I think is the greatest comic book movie ever created, and that is
Hellboy.
Oh, Jesus.
No, Brad. Green Lantern.
I love how he physically recoiled when I said that.
Hellboy, oh my god.
But no, Joker. Yeah. I think I know. I think our number 1's at the same.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't say it.
Joker.
I'm missing it. No, I'm just.
Shh, let him talk.
Sorry.
I don't want you to think about what our number 1 is.
Joker is just, again, it is the single greatest comic book movie ever made. I think it does everything that a film should do. It has incredible cinematography, it has incredible sets, incredible acting. Everything about this film is top notch. I think it is absolutely perfect. There is nothing for me personally that I can poke at that film and say, I didn't like that. That could have been better. Maybe the lighting sucks in this part. I can nitpick. There is nothing that I can nitpick about in this film. Joaquin is just incredible. One of my favorite scenes of the entire year is just him standing in that bathroom scene after he kills those guys. And as he is starting to go from this person who is unraveled and finding himself with the score behind it, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It is just a great movie. I just don't know when I'll see another comic book movie that's on this level. There is nothing even close to this, in my opinion. It was going to be my number 1 film of the entire year, but then I saw something else, and it's like, well, this is just greater than anything that I've seen in like maybe the past 2 years. So
I honestly cannot guess. I'm like doing process of elimination.
Good, you'll hear it. So Brad, I'm going to pass it to you. What is your number 1 pick?
First, I forgot to mention the score for Joker. If that doesn't win Best Score, I'm gonna
shit myself.
I know.
I'm gonna lose it.
I'm going to soil myself.
I will. Hey, we should watch the Oscars together, by the way.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would
do
be
it
awesome.
in my parents' giant theater room.
Yes.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Anyway.
And we need to do the whole ballots. You need to have
Brad and
we always say like, okay,
like $5.
Yeah, whoever wins $5 or something.
Yeah, gift card.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. My number 1.
Okay, hold on. Because are your number 1s the same?
Yes.
I'm almost positive.
100% the same.
Okay, hold on. Cats.
Shit. He got it.
I'm looking. Let's see.
It's not on your list.
It's not on my list.
Nope.
But I'm checking it twice. Wow. You're going to say it and I'm going to go, oh.
You are.
Okay, go for it.
1917.
Oh, God. I haven't seen it.
We're seeing. Oh, I mean, I'm seeing it with my dad on Friday because it's finally coming out. He wants to see it so
I'm
bad.
Go see it. Wow.
Yeah, it is one of the greatest war films I have ever seen. The direction from Sam Mendes is. There are parts of it I have no idea how they did it. Roger Deakins is the cinematographer on this one. Every shot is gorgeous. Even it's a simulated one take. There's a few cuts in there, but it's just beautiful. And the story of 2 soldiers, 2 nobodies. They really are nobodies. They're so low on the totem pole of soldiers that have to go behind enemy lines to warn the next army, don't advance, this is a trap. And one of their brothers is in that army. So it's a really personal and just very focused story. Because World War I, there's not a lot of World War I movies because I wouldn't say it's a boring war, but cinematically it's not that interesting.
Yes.
Because it's a stalemate, and we saw They Shall Not Grow Old, the Peter Jackson documentary about it. Phenomenal. But it really did describe that the soldiers had no idea what they were doing. And even the generals were like, we're getting different orders every day. And it's a war between, the 2 heads of the countries. It had nothing to do with the people. And so this one kind of really went well into that because you could tell all the generals are just so tired and they're so they don't know what's going on, and they don't even care anymore at a certain point, at least from the first army we see.
Because they're just losing men. Every time there's new orders, they just lose more people, and then there's new orders, and then they have to fall back.
So this is your number 1 as well?
Yes.
Okay.
By far. I just want to say a few things and I'll pass it back to you.
Go for it.
No, go for it.
Much like you said, like it's a quote unquote like cinematically boring, but I think what makes this unique and what makes it so good is the one take thing, because you're following these two guys from point A to point B the entire time. You're literally following them. So when they're going through enemy territory, you're constantly fearing for their lives because you have no idea what's going to happen. In other films, it's like, well, we're going to follow these people and then another set of characters and then another set of characters. Because you're with them the entire time, the tension of seeing if something's going to happen to them lasts the entire runtime of the film. The technical aspects of this film is just some of the best I've ever seen. Cinematography is incredible, and these guys, it's like you feel so much for them on their journey trying to get to passing through enemy lines, trying to save one of the guys' brothers on the other end. It's just it's an incredible film.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I can't wait for you to see it. You're gonna I hope you just lose your shit.
Gross.
Yeah, it's gonna be disgusting.
And I almost cried at the end. I was honestly trying to fight back the tears because I'm with Brad watching it. I'm like, James, I told him this after I told him this after we saw it. I was in there. I'm trying not to cry. I'm like, don't be a pussy. Don't be a pussy in front of Brad. Don't be a pussy.
After crying in front
I don't
of
think
Brad.
anyone's ever said that, like don't be a pussy in front of Brad. I'm like, everyone's like, why is Brad being a pussy in front of me?
After crying together with Brad during Toy Story 3, my walls are down. Wow. I got to see 1917.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything else.
Okay.
You just have to experience it. You're not just watching it.
Especially when Chewbacca shows up at the end.
Yes.
With his bowcaster. It's crazy.
My number one.
I don't care. I do not care.
And that's today's show, everyone. My number one. Can you guess?
I think I know what it is.
Yeah, I know what it is.
I don't want to.
You probably know what it is.
I don't want to. I don't want to spoil your announcement of it, but I know what it is. I think.
Okay. Cats. No, it's Gemini Man because
Okay, that one actually threw me off. I just think what Ang Lee did with that much money was just such an abomination.
It's like, how do you fuck up that bad? No, it's Parasite.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's Parasite. I love thrillers. I love genre movies. I love Bong Joon-ho.
You love like quirky family dramas.
I do.
I love that stuff.
I love quirky family dramas, and I love thrillers. So a quirky well, it wasn't quirky, but it was a family drama thriller.
They had some quirks.
I mean, I guess, but no, I mean, you guys already said it so well. You know, and the thing is, it's all working in unison. Like I was saying, the actors, the director, you don't know where the good directing and the good acting, like you can't
where it starts and stops.
Where it starts and stops.
Yeah.
You can't tell. Is this the script being amazing, or is it the acting, or is it everything is so in unison? It is a perfectly polished pearl of a movie, and I feel grateful that we have it. And it's one of those things that it's so good, it like escaped from Korea and like got all the way over here. Because there are amazing Korean movies, and I'm always telling people, I'm like, watch Train to Busan, watch Madeo, which is Mother, also by Bong Joon-ho.
I Saw the Devil.
The Handmaiden, Old Boy, which I have not seen.
Dude, Old Boy is so good.
I know. But you know, there's so many of these amazing movies, and nobody sees them, and they do American remakes and all this stuff. And this movie was so good, it's like, oh shit, we can't top it, and everyone needs to see it exactly as it is. Really a brilliant movie, and I'm
so happy that how accepting America has been of that movie.
Me too.
Like there are people that
people are seeing it.
Yeah, people are like seeing it, going like, "Oh my god, that was incredible!" And I'm like, finally, that like foreign films, like Pan's Labyrinth, I think was another one that like escaped borders.
That was probably the last huge foreign film because nobody really saw Roma.
Well, The Artist, wasn't that technically foreign?
It was in English.
Yeah, kind of.
It was a silent film.
Yeah.
French production.
By the way, I just reminded everyone of listening to this that The Artist was a movie.
I know. It's funny that it won Best Picture. It was a good movie.
It was a slow year.
It was.
It's like last year was kind of a slow year.
Yeah.
Which is why
if Green Book wins Best Picture, it's a slow year.
Yeah. Hell, even this, I thought that what they nominated was pretty weak.
Yeah. If Bohemian Rhapsody is on your Best Picture list.
Yeah. But based on their list, I was like, A Star is Born is the best one on here. And that movie's great, but it's not like Best Picture.
Yeah, it'd be one of those movies that'd be like my number 10 of a year.
It was it was like my number 6. I think.
Yeah,
I
great
really
movie, but
enjoyed
like
that.
that's the best the year has to offer.
Yeah,
is Bradley Cooper.
Right, but again, like movies escaping borders, like it doesn't happen very often. But I'm so happy that Parasite did.
Me too. Especially because, like you said, there's so much good foreign cinema out there, and we watch it obviously, but it's so good to see some of it get to the masses.
Hell yeah, and we missed quite a bit of it too. It's really hard to keep up with.
It's hard to keep up with because a lot of it doesn't even come to theaters here, so it's like home video, and then it just joins the pile of movies that you need to catch up on, and then you're watching new stuff, and and you
finally watch, you're like, why did I wait so long?
I know, it's like the Hunt with Mads Mikkelsen. The Norwegian one.
Oh my gosh.
Or Danish.
I think it's Danish.
Yeah. Incredible movie. It took me forever to watch.
It was on Netflix, and I just gave it a watch because I heard great things about it, and what a powerhouse that was.
No, really great movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did we pick? We did Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, and I did Original and Adapted Screenplay.
I did all of those too. I just kind of copied and pasted what you guys put in the group text, but I added Best Original Score.
I did too, and I added.
Did we all pick Joker for Best Original Score?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we can skip that. But I put cinematography in there as well.
I mean, you guys probably both picked 1917.
I didn't put that in there, but that's probably going to be my pick. So let's start off with Best Adapted Screenplay. What do you guys think is the film that has the best adapted screenplay this year?
Probably Cats.
I'm gonna clip out every time you say Cats. It's gonna be the best.
I want to read that screenplay. It must be pure nonsense.
It must be bonkers.
It's just crazy. Okay, Aaron, I'll let you go first.
I wouldn't be surprised if we all picked the same thing.
I don't think we did.
Well, I think we did.
Well, I saw your list. Did you change it?
I did not change it.
What?
Joker.
Oh, I thought you picked Toy Story 4.
I changed my mind after I realized Joker was an adapted screenplay.
Yeah, I was looking up the list. I think it's all of ours.
Yeah. Okay. Joker too.
What's not to love? It's like James said. There's nothing to nitpick. And it's just, what a daring adaptation. You know, other than Joaquin Phoenix's performance, the direction is really good, but there's better direction this year. There's some direction that's truly stunning.
Agreed.
The thing that really lets the movie soar is the score, the screenplay, and Joaquin Phoenix. And the directing of Joaquin Phoenix, obviously. But those three things are really what tie the movie together into this beautiful, sort of tense masterpiece, And even when you're writing to think about taking it to the Murray show, and it was just so original. It was so original. When we think about adaptations as well, it was such an uncommon way to adapt something. Just really cool, really cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We've kind of talked Joker to death,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt like the film could have gone in a different direction, trying to tell a quote-unquote origin story of Joker.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate what they did with that film.
Yeah. Because that had almost nothing to do with Joker. It's about a bigger issue. Mental illness and society's expectations. And
I think that's another thing, to write something so iconic, something that becomes immediately a moment in American culture.
And it's not preachy.
Cool.
And it doesn't tell. Yeah, it's just very heartfelt, which I think is so special.
Yeah, no, it's really excellent.
Yeah. Arthur Fleck, he's the medium for everything that you just mentioned, Brad. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Best Original Screenplay.
Okay.
I had a harder time with this one.
Yeah, me too.
Because there were so many that I thought were just so good.
I know.
I'll mention some honorable mentions, but Jojo Rabbit, I thought that was excellently written.
Adapted.
Oh, is it? Oh my God, it is. I forgot about the book. Mm-hmm. Never mind.
I didn't know there was a book.
It's extremely vaguely based on a book.
I completely... Yeah, you're right. Okay, never mind. Not that one then.
There are other great adapted screenplays too, like Toy Story 4. I thought was an excellent script. That almost made my top 10.
It's my least favorite Toy Story.
3 is my least favorite.
Yeah. I need to watch it again. I need to watch all 4 again.
I watched all 4 again.
But they're all great, obviously.
I still haven't seen 4.
It's amazing. It's actually, I think it's the best of the Toy Stories.
It's pretty good.
But anyway, so what are some honorable mentions for original? Everything in our top 10, obviously.
Really, Uncut Gems recently got into there.
Uncut Gems. The Farewell was up there for me, but the one I picked, it was just the craft of the writing was so unbelievable.
I think we picked the same
Marriage
one.
Story.
Oh, no.
Wow, I picked Marriage Story. I think it is so rare that it's like, nope, you cannot improv because my script is already perfect. And that was the case. It was so...
That's a good argument.
The writing is what carries the movie. I mean, obviously Adam Driver in the performances, but it's, you know, there are good performances everywhere. You know, without a good script, what are you? And... it was obviously good direction, but the script is the heart and soul of that movie. The research done into divorce, how real it is, how relatable it is, and like I said, that argument scene, you know, it's just impossible to top that.
When I was watching that, I was instantly going, this is going to be played when Adam Driver gets nominated. You're going to play that part
Probably
to showcase it.
You would think, but sometimes they don't want to spoil things.
True.
But the movie's about a divorce. Arguments happen with couples, so maybe not.
Sometimes they do make oddball choices with clips they pick. So
because sometimes the studio just sends out random ass clips.
Yeah,
but no, I really honestly, for a screenplay to carry the movie, like, it's very rare that, like, because normally it's like, oh, Adam Driver carried Star Wars Episode 9 on his back, or you usually hear like, oh man, or like Parasite. Oh, if it weren't for Bong Joon-ho and his direction, you know, tying it all together, it really wouldn't have worked. You know, and this is a rare case of the screenplay carrying the movie on its back, despite everybody being amazing, obviously, but just that caliber of writing is rare.
So because of everything you just said, that just made me change my pick.
Ooh.
So I had Us for Best Original Screenplay.
Ha! What a loser! Foolish!
But for every single thing you just said, I have to give it to Marriage Story. I feel like I would be an idiot for not picking it, because you are so right. The writing, the script is what carries that film.
You wouldn't be an idiot for not picking it. You would just be an idiot for picking Us. No, I'm just teasing you. Well, cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that.
Mine's Parasite.
Yeah, that was my other one.
Marriage Story and Parasite are so different, because Marriage Story is not heavily plot based. It's very much conversations and making it real,
Parasite,
which I think is a lot to do with direction. Making that feel so real with great performances. But with Parasite, there's so many things in that movie that you can't do by just telling an actor something, or like directing something.
That is very valid.
Yeah. There's so many small things in there, so many small interactions and plot points that they put in there. It's just so perfectly executed and revealed. Because that's all a screenplay is you have this... A writer has all this information inside them. They have to pick when to reveal it and when the best time is. And I think Parasite does that the best.
It's really tough because they're excellent scripts for opposite reasons.
Yeah.
You know, Parasite is excellent because of its tight plotting. Marriage Story is excellent because of its dialogue.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting because they're both totally...
I love them both.
It's a great
They're
pick,
totally valid winners.
So let's move on. Let's talk about Best Supporting Actress.
You're just throwing us curveballs. You're just doing different... I'm going to throw you a curveball on this one. You guys are not going to know what I picked.
Okay.
What did you pick?
No, I want you guys to go first.
No, now you got me all hot and ready.
Yeah, I want to know.
I'm Little Caesars, man. I'm hot and ready.
Frances Conroy from Joker, who played Arthur Fleck's mom.
Okay.
Ooh. For a minute, I thought we were talking screenplay. I'm like, we just said Joker for screenplay, Tommy. Wow.
Yeah, what a
stupid choice. No, I'm kidding. She was excellent. I didn't even think about it.
It's just that she wasn't in it very much, but she had such a...
So for the listeners, you want to know why we're laughing right now. So I tried to type in Joker into Rotten Tomatoes, and I typed in Jort. So
yes. Jorts.
Yes. Nothing like a movie about jorts. Just Joaquin Phoenix walking through New York in jorts, and they're just like, fuck you. And he's like, you don't understand. If I was wearing jorts and I was dying, you would have walked right over me.
What is up with their algorithm? It's not pulling up Joker as number one.
Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, dude. 69%
is actually... That's stupid.
No, 69 is actually better than 100%.
Yeah. I would pick that any day.
In Super Smash Brothers, whenever I get 69%, I go, oh, I'm invincible until I'm hit again. Anyway, so talk about your weird choice.
I picked her because she carried the balance between is she actually mentally ill, or is she being real about it? Because a lot of actresses would have just gone full on with the crazy. but she did such a insidious version of a mental illness that she has that it's so real to her that you cannot tell if it's because it wouldn't have the twist wouldn't have worked with the whole like father thing if she just acted like a nutcase.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think a lot of people too forget, like when you praise an actor like Joaquin Phoenix, like we've been praising, I'm like, oh my god, Joaquin. An actor many times is only as good as their co-actors. You have to have people to act with, and she was the peanut butter to his jelly. You know? So that's a good choice.
That's my pick.
Maybe you're not so dumb after all.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna prove you wrong later. Best Director, Tom Hooper.
My pick for Best Supporting Actress, and again, this is solely based off of the films that I've seen. I'm going Scarlett Johansson and Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, she's a good choice.
She did an amazing job as the mom, and you know, when what happens, it's like, well, fuck. She was such a huge part of JoJo's life, obviously, but I thought
warm
she was
presence.
Yeah. I thought she was great.
I loved her in that movie.
She also characterizes JoJo. You can see where JoJo comes from and who raised him, and that way JoJo's arc makes sense because you can see who raised him in her heart. And I actually prefer that performance to her Marriage Story one. Her Marriage Story one is good, but if we're talking about flashy emotional performances, Adam Driver outdoes her. What she does in Jojo Rabbit is really help carry the movie in a way that most people wouldn't directly notice. She was obviously a great in Marriage Story. I'd still give her a nomination. Again, we're talking, you know, Mr. Muscle Man versus slightly bigger Mr. Muscle Man. But no, that's a good choice.
Yeah, what's your pick?
I think I know.
I want to get the name right. Zhao Shuzhen for The Farewell.
She plays the grandma.
She plays the grandmother.
Yeah, I need to see it.
Oh my goodness! First of all, she is a non-English speaking character, and I'm assuming non-English speaking actress in a predominantly English movie, and it's so sensitive and so knowing, and her performance permeates the movie when she's not there. It's what a supporting character should do, a supporting actor. You know, she's literally supporting the entire cast, bringing it to life. The movie, she is the MacGuffin. It surrounds her. It's about her. It's about her impending death. And it's just such a sensitive, tender, real performance from somebody who, it's really cool. Like I said, she conveys her wisdom and her age in such a graceful and a beautiful and an emotional way. And it's not flashy, but it holds the movie together and it supports everybody in such a beautiful way. I honestly hope that she wins the Oscar. I
think she will.
I think she will. It's looking like she will. It's like Mahershala Ali in Moonlight, where it's such a, you know, tender performance that ties things together so beautifully and bolsters up the other characters. You understand the other characters because of what she's doing. She's characterizing the other characters by existing. The movie is all her offspring coming to her. She is also so wickedly funny. Her and Awkwafina play so well off each other. Awkwafina was almost my best actress choice.
She was close.
She was close. Yeah. She's so good, but
I've heard she's amazing.
She's amazing, and she deserves to be recognized.
Because that's the first thing I've ever seen her in. Like, I know she was in Crazy Rich Asians, and she was in a few other things.
Oceans,
but it's the first thing I saw her in, and I was like, wow. Like,
nice.
And I've heard her, like, and she's really funny. Like,
she's very funny.
Yeah, and I listened to some of her music.
It's funny.
It's good and funny. And I'm like, okay. And I saw her in this. I was like, this, okay, like, completely different. You nailed it.
She's a really nice budding artist, and I'm excited to see what she does, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about Best Actress.
This is another curveball.
Mine's another curveball. Mine's a curveball, not another. I haven't had one yet.
Okay.
Are you guys waiting for me?
Oh, yes.
Taylor Swift in Cats. She's actually one of the better parts of Cats, by the way.
Yeah, because she already looks like a cat.
She does. And she can sing and has presence. So, you know what? Props to T Swift. Yeah, anyway, what's your best actress?
Sophia Boutella from Climax.
That is a curveball.
I rewatched it last night to specifically make sure. Because I just remember... And, oh, my gosh. She's just so powerful in that movie. Her start where she's, you know, obviously she's been a dancer for like 15 years.
In real life?
In real life,
yeah.
Yep. But she was the only professional actress on set. But the way that she could carry those scenes of those extremely long takes of really aggressive and
visceral,
hard to watch and hard to be a part of scenes where you're just being emotionally drained. She completely nails it.
Well, and it's funny is how I was saying, like, you don't see the characters trip, you don't see what they're seeing, you see the characters.
They have to convince you that they are seeing the worst stuff possible, or they're feeling this like bugs all over them, or they're feeling like they're being attacked by something when they're not. Like, the way that she sells it is incredible.
Yeah,
that's a good choice.
Aaron,
I know.
Do you know who I picked? You want to take a guess?
You said this was kind of a curveball?
Yes, it is. I was going to pick Sour Shoes Ronan from... Zach Galifianakis calls her that in Between Two Ferns, and I can't unhear it.
That's hilarious.
I was going to pick Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, but I picked...
I don't know.
Florence Pugh from Midsommar.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Little Women. I'm like, that's not lead though.
No,
see, I don't see that as a curveball because that's my pick too.
Ooh,
really
interesting. It's so good.
She is really good in that movie.
She's so raw and so tragic and so. I mean, God, the movie is scary because of her. It's this movie in the middle of the flippin' daylight with very little gore. It's only scary because we empathize with her. It's only scary because she's scared. It's only scary because the people around her are abandoning her and the way she's reacting. She's depressed. She's trying to act like everything's okay, but it's not. Her and her frown really carried that movie.
Yeah, I mean, for everything that you just said, I mean, I would just be saying the same thing, especially how she looks at the end where her boyfriend is burning in that house thing. The way that she looks, the makeup work that was done on her, the way that she portrays that character from the beginning to end, it's just, you're locked into her the entire time.
She is the reason that I like that movie, at all. Like, because I do like the movie. And she
elevated it a lot.
Oh yeah. No, without her it would be less.
And I forget about, Ari Aster loves women crying their guts out for some reason. Like Toni Collette, obviously, she was so overlooked. That was so aggravating.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but Florence Pugh, her crying scene in this in the beginning when her family dies.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I also like the scene where they're in the sleeping bunk. With all the women, they're all crying at the same time.
That was really good.
That was really cool. The movie is really risky, and sometimes it really works. And thankfully, it's all of Florence Pugh's moments, and you could argue that that's because of her. No, I'm glad we're on the same page there.
That's one that I would say it's in my top three because it'd be her, Awkwafina, and Sofia Boutella. Like, that's like three that. Well, Awkwafina's going to get attention, but no one else is. Like, those other two are not.
No,
unfortunately.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
it really is unfortunate because who else do they think about giving the nom to?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, that's fair.
Renee Zellweger for Judy.
I mean, Scarlett's my runner-up.
I didn't see Judy, so I can't judge it.
I can't. It's such a traditional Oscar role.
Yeah, that I'm kind of bored.
I don't even want to see it. Yeah.
And I'm so sure Saoirse Ronan is.
Oh yeah, she's.
I don't think she got so much attention for Lady Bird and she still didn't win.
She was. Yeah. No, she won't win for Little Women.
No. I don't think Little Women will win anything, but it's still really good.
No.
Well, from what I've heard, I do want to see it.
No, I think it'll get some attention, but not.
Yeah.
It's very much a number 5 on my list kind of movie.
Yeah, so let's talk about Best Supporting Actor now.
I think we might all have the same one.
The same one?
James,
you go first.
I don't
Brad
know.
and I almost certainly have the same one.
So my pick is going to be Willem Dafoe in Lighthouse.
That's ours.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Oh my God. If I had to pick Performance of the Year, it would be that one. Angry pirate getting, he's like buried alive at one point. He's tossed around. He
completely embraced the character.
He's this swirling tornado at the center of this movie. The movie relies entirely on its performances. And Robert Pattinson is the straight man. He needs to go crazy because of Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe's the catalyst for it.
Robert Pattinson is definitely on my list of favorite male performances this year. But Willem Dafoe is just such a unique, idiosyncratic actor and a idiosyncratic and interesting character. And I could listen. It's a good performance too, because there's several monologues where I don't understand what the fuck he's saying. Like the dialogue.
Yeah, I need to see it with
But you're locked in, though. You're so locked in.
Because I feel it. I don't need to understand it because Willem Dafoe is expressing it to me. You know, it'd be like watching a foreign film with no subtitles.
Like, and the best kind of movie is one where you can turn off the voices and still kind of get an idea of what's going on. Yeah, and that's what The Lighthouse is. Because I honestly didn't have any idea what was going on most of the time, but I was still locked in, and I really enjoyed it.
And another thing too, another reason is it's so physical. A man his age getting tossed around like he's getting tossed around, and it's so physical. You can't believe that he's 60 years old. It's just
he's 60.
Yeah.
I thought he was like in his late 40s.
No, he's 60. Wow. It's a really special performance, and it makes The Lighthouse worth seeing.
Yeah.
Another thing that's like in my top 20, but you know, but if it weren't for Willem Dafoe, that movie would be nothing.
Lighthouse is in like my top 15. Yeah, but it's everything that he does with his body language. Like, just it's a very short moment, but when he's like naked, standing in front of the light in the lighthouse, it's like, what the fuck is happening? What is this guy doing? Like, what is it doing to his mind? And that all comes through just the movements that he gives in the movie. So.
Yeah, especially when he's drunk too. God, it's so funny. Like, it works so well. He's just incredible.
Oh my goodness! What more can you say?
Yeah. So let's talk about Best Actor. I don't know if we have all the same picks for
this one. Is the hardest one.
This one was the hardest one.
I still have two names right here. Yeah, I know which one I'm going to pick, but I have two written down.
I have a curveball choice, and I have two that I couldn't legitimately pick between.
Well, let's talk about some curveball choices or choices that didn't win. Like, for example, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. I know Brad Pitt's technically supporting, but they're one performance in my mind. It's like a dual performance. It's fascinating. Yeah. They are one character. They are, well, no, they're not one character, but they're one performance. It's this beautiful in unison thing where they're so in sync and dancing through this movie together, and it's so effortless. You've got these heavyweight actors doing this, chill 1960s acting, just coasting through it. And you know what? They were coasting. They're so much stronger than what they're lifting. So it'd be like seeing, Mr. Incredible just lift a car with his finger like it's nothing. And that's exactly what it was like watching those two Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah. They didn't need to be flashy. They're just surfing through that movie with incredible skill, and you're like, nice.
Yeah. Nice.
And it's one of those things where I wouldn't give an Oscar to it, because there are some performances where you're like, whoa, that guy went there. That guy gave it his all. That guy, But those two, to see them coast... It's so fun.
Yeah,
it really is.
One that Roman Griffin Davis would be one of mine from Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah,
that kid carried that movie.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And he did it with such ease.
Yes,
like he carried the drama and the comedy. Like he got blown up by a grenade and it was hilarious. And he made it funny.
No, you know what? You're absolutely right. Actually,
yeah,
I didn't understand the praise, the overpraise for his performance until you said that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant, the partnership between the kid and Taika, because Taika keeps the set fun, and he allows the kid to explore and do... It's awesome.
There's a lot of heavy things that he has to emote on his face that a kid his age, he was like 12 or 13, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
It's just incredible how he did that. So that's my curveball pick, because it's not exactly fair to compare a child to an adult in this regard.
Well, and then shout out to people like Taron Egerton, from Rocket Man. And shout out to...
I still haven't seen Rocket Man. I missed it.
He's the best part of the movie. Yeah.
Even like Robert De Niro. Al Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa was so good. Even like the team in Parasite is really excellent. It's just, there's so many excellent...
I think Parasite was best ensemble cast.
Yes.
If there was an award for that,
they're a unit.
Hands down, dude.
Yeah. They're a unit. But I think we're stuck between the same two people. Everybody is.
Yeah, How could you not? Well, there's one more.
Okay.
That George Mackey, I think is his name, from 1917.
Yes.
He is incredible.
Yeah, he is mind-blowing in that movie.
Yeah. That's another one where I'm he's not even getting talked about even a little bit, and it's really frustrating.
I think it's because no one's really seen it yet, which is frustrating. Adam Sandler's performance was obviously
that's another big one.
I already said it. It's the best performance of his career.
Oh, yeah. And then there are also performances like when we talked about earlier, The Art of Self-Defense, like
Jesse Eisenberg.
Eisenberg. You wouldn't give him an Oscar, but you would be like, that was so good.
This might be fucked up of me to say, but I wouldn't give him the Oscar because I feel like the character is so Jesse Eisenberg that he's not really performing as someone else.
You're absolutely right, and that's where it gets kind of tough, because is it a great performance? Yes, but it's like, did he transform? No. Did he do anything different? No. But it's like Jesse Eisenberg doing Jesse Eisenberg better than ever.
He's doing it pitch perfectly. It is so good.
He's doing his thing, and it's great.
So it's worth recognition, but not like awards, but
Or even like
he should
Rory
be
Culkin in Lords of Chaos.
Yes.
And there's so many good actors and actresses. This year was an actor's year. Last year was an actress's year. This year is an actor's year.
Yeah, the two I'm stuck between are Adam Driver and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think
But
we all are.
I had to give it to Joaquin Phoenix. I've seen that guy in just so many fucking movies, and I did not recognize him as Arthur Fleck. I have to give it to Joaquin in that regard.
I gave it to Adam Driver.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Why?
Can't blame you.
It's so difficult, man. Like I want Joaquin to win it mainly for career wise because he's earned it so many times that I think he deserves it at this point.
Yeah.
But Adam Driver again carried well, so did Joaquin. He carried Joker as well.
That's why I gave it to Joaquin. I gave it to Joaquin because he carried Joker. Adam Driver did not carry Marriage Story. He's surrounded by other incredible... He's surrounded by Ray Liotta and Laura Dern and Scarlett Johansson, all working together in unison to serve the brilliant script that I awarded.
I just thought there was so much subtlety in his performance. That's the hardest thing to get is subtlety because you can scream and crash around and do all that, and that's hard on its own to do it without being funny.
You don't want to end up like Nick Cage screaming for the sake of screaming.
Yeah, like where it just gets to be a joke.
Yeah.
But he balanced it so well, and those small I don't know what you would call it, like twinges in his voice, like when he's getting emotional, and there's just so much that makes it so real. He really
lived it.
Yeah.
There's not a false note in the performance. My pick was ultimately Joaquin, though, for not only carrying the movie, but for transforming, but also for the movie. When people criticize it for, it promotes violence or, incels, violence, whatever, the only reason I would... there are a lot of reasons why I wouldn't give that argument any credit, but the main reason is Joaquin is so real and so sensitive and so visceral and so... You watch that movie and you watch his performance and you're like, I get it. I get it.
100%.
Yeah. And then there's Best Director.
Yeah, let's talk about Best Director.
I'm guessing it's a lot like our Best Picture choices.
Very close, yeah.
Is it Sam Mendes, Bong Joon-ho?
No.
Mine's Sam Mendes.
Mine's Bong Joon-ho. So
mine is also Bong Joon-ho.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that was really, really hard for me because 1917 is my pick for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of just gave that away, too. But I just felt like Bong Joon-ho just
We already
destroyed.
gave away Best Picture.
We did Best Picture already?
Well, that was our number one movie.
That's true. Yeah, I just wrote it down and I'm just looking at my list. But yeah, I think Bong Joon-ho did an incredible job directing Parasite. For me, that was just a no-brainer.
Yeah. No,
it was hard to pick, but I just thought Sam Mendes really... How difficult 1970 must have been. I think how well he pulled it off is what got me to
directing
pick
is
him.
always a tough one too because directing can be good for so many different reasons, like orchestrating a long one take or orchestrating a million moving plot points like Parasite, or bringing that sensitivity to Marriage Story. It's like, or even the love and care and detail that Greta Gerwig brings to this perfect little deep gem of Little Women. It's like there's so many it's just awards are hard. Movie making is not a contest. But no, I also gave it to Bong Joon-ho for the same reasons. It's so many moving parts, and it's just to bring us this original, perfect little movie that is an instant classic from across the world deserves to be celebrated.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen 1917, and that one feels like Dunkirk in that it is an achievement of directing. Parasite's nothing new. 1917, you probably look at it and go like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, if you are a person that loves the art of filmmaking, God, you got to see 1917.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a blast.
I had to pick my grandma up from the airport when you initially invited
That's
me.
right. Yeah.
So
I'm seeing it in Dolby on Thursday.
I'm seeing it on Friday.
Fucking wait.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I might go with you.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Because I told my dad about it the first time, and he was like, I really want to see that now. I was like, okay, we'll go see it.
So what I want to know, though, is why isn't Cats getting more praise? Because...
I think we're in a very dog-centric society.
We are. There is a dog in the movie, and you don't see it.
Oh, yeah. It's barking outside the door.
Well, it's like trying to get in, and the cat shut the door.
Does the dog have a face?
No,
they
you don't see it.
Yeah, no.
God, if it did, though.
I wanted it so bad to be like a giant dog person, but that was not the case. I do want to know some of your guys' worst of the year, though, particularly yours, because I haven't heard any of yours.
You're doing an official podcast.
Yeah, I want to save that. I want the three of us to do a separate episode just on the worst.
Great, I'll catch up.
2019.
I'll catch up.
I'll watch some of them with you.
Yeah, because like I've heard things like Countdown are super bad.
Oh, we should watch that.
God.
I want to see that.
Like there are a lot of movies that. There were some stinkers this year, and I want to be there.
I haven't seen Countdown. What is it, Black Christmas? I haven't seen that yet either.
I don't know if we'll be able to see that before, because isn't it out of theaters now?
Is it already?
No, it's still,
bombed.
It's still playing a couple places.
Oh, okay. I don't think that would even... I feel like that would be so boring.
I've heard it's
stupid. That
dull. Yeah. I need to see Six Underground.
That's
boy. You are in for a ride.
You haven't seen that many Michael Bay movies. At least I don't think you have.
No.
So this is going to be him at his worst. Punching you in the face.
I've seen several. I know it
I think this is what happens when you don't have anyone to tell you no. This is just... I said it in a tweet.
He hasn't had that in a while, though.
Yeah, this is everything that Michael Bay masturbates about at night. All in this one movie.
That really is what it is. It's horrible.
Nice.
But I'll wait for just describing it for the podcast.
Okay, cool. Well, then I'll save my worsts.
Yeah. But
yeah, that's going to be a really
it's gonna
fun
be
episode.
So much fun.
What about like movies, underrated movies?
Lords of Chaos,
Alita.
Oh,
so
actually, speaking of Alita, I want to talk about best visual effects for a second, if we have time.
Yes.
Okay.
Alita: Battle Angel has the best visual effects of any film this year.
That's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have given it to Avengers
because it's so colossal, but
true. But there's a lot of... I've seen it like 3 times now. The suits the time traveling suits, those are all CG, and you can tell because especially when their masks are on.
Yes,
you could tell there's like it's a little not. I'm not saying it's like Cats at all, but there's a similar thing of like the movement's a little off.
Yeah,
not nearly as much as Cats. There's no clipping or glitching, but I just noticed it. Like the first time I watched it, I noticed it, and I was like, that
Alita,
takes it down.
Well, and Alita is a visual effects movie.
Yes.
But like what is it? They're skating at the end. I forget what it's called.
Roller derby.
It's like roller... No,
it's rollerball. No, that's a movie. A motorball, isn't it? Motorball? No, I can't remember.
That just sounds inappropriate.
But no, yeah, Alita would be my best VFX.
Yeah. Well, and because it could have been so easy for her eyes to put it into the uncanny valley and make it so you couldn't sympathize with her because it's so creepy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that, but they haven't seen the movie. I was like, you really just have to watch it in motion. You get used to it within like 5 seconds.
You do. No, it really does.
Even from the trailer, I thought it looked cool.
So I'm a huge fan of the manga and the anime, and I felt like it was brilliantly adapted. My problem is the relationship does not translate from manga and anime to movie. They went full young adult with the relationship, and it doesn't work.
That is
or else Alita would have been in my top 10. Honestly, it probably would have been number 10.
It was, mine was very close. It was in there at first, but then once I started looking at more and more, I was like,
it's got a couple of fatal bullet wounds.
The relationship just ruins the entire movie. And there's just so much time dedicated to their relationship.
The Christoph Waltz?
No, with Alita and Hugo.
Oh, jeez, you're right.
And then Mahershala Ali is unfortunately wasted.
No, it keeps the movie from soaring.
Yeah, and a lot of there's quite a bit of world building that feels kind of distracting,
like setting up for a sequel kind of thing.
Yeah. To some of that, I understand why they did it, but it kind of keeps it from being...
I would still recommend it to anybody that's interested. I really did.
I have it on Steelbook right there.
Yeah, that's what got me thinking about it.
It's fantastic.
Here's some of the other movies that they're talking about for best VFX: Rise of Skywalker.
Sure. Yeah.
The Star Wars almost never wins.
The effects in Star Wars are always so good; they're invisible, And on top of that, it's like, well, I've seen that before, so you just accept it. The Lion King.
Sure.
Gemini Man.
No.
Fuck no.
The Irishman actually had some really nice de-aging.
I thought the de-aging was done really well. It's just because of their body types now, because they're older, it just looked silly, and it brought it out a little bit more.
I think Irishman's going to win because of this, of how subtle it was and how they had to change it so many times.
The Academy likes that.
They gave First Man, Ex Machina. They love those small movies with very
the visual effects in Ex Machina was amazing.
Yeah, so and that was such a surprise too. So I think they're going to go with a surprise again because they don't like the big stuff.
On the topic of visual effects, Ad Astra, I am not the biggest fan of that movie.
I've not seen it yet,
but visually, holy shit!
They love space stuff.
It's the Interstellar team, isn't it?
Yes,
same
I think so.
It's the same production designer and cinematographer.
Ad Astra looks amazing.
Yeah, I do want to see that. I'm very curious.
Nice.
I hope you haven't seen any of the trailers.
No.
Barely.
Good. Just go in blind. Do not look at a trailer. Go in completely blind into Ad Astra.
Okay.
You don't have to. We don't really look up trailers very often. We just kind of see them when they're at the theater, and that's about it.
This in particular. So I'll tell you, the movie the sense of the movie that you get in the trailer is not the movie in any way, shape, or form.
I've heard that.
It's completely different.
Interesting.
Because it's a very personal movie. It's not like a space epic that people are making it out. Not that the marketing made it out to be.
Yes. Yeah. It is a completely different movie. It's if actually I saw the trailer and then I saw the movie and I'm like, well, where's that movie? Because I'm kind of more interested in that movie. I thought it was good, but I was much more interested in what the marketing let it out to be.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Huh. The more you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Cats obviously is going to win Best Visual.
As it should. It should. Yeah. It's rare for VFX to titillate me so deeply that I involuntarily orgasm. I couldn't handle it.
Aaron, I had popcorn next to you. Like,
the cats, Brad. They were so sexy.
Do you guys have any real underrated picks just for overall films?
Yes.
I don't think Booksmart is getting enough attention.
I never saw Booksmart.
I really liked Booksmart.
I always have to Google because then I'm like, oh yeah,
Booksmart, Crawl was really good.
Yes, Crawl does not get the recognition it deserves.
Cold Pursuit.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's really good.
No,
it's a great dark comedy.
Let's see.
Okay.
Most under. Cats. Movies. Oh, come on. Movies of 2019. The podcast listeners are like, whoa, this is entertaining. Okay, let's see. High Flying Bird. Steven Soderbergh's iPhone movie on Netflix. High Flying Bird was amazing.
Haven't seen it.
Really good. Paddleton.
I'd never heard of High Flying.
It's really good. It's about NBA players. But them fucking up financially and stuff. It's actually really good.
They're the most likely, I think.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
I thought that was good.
I did not expect it to be as good as it was. I feel like those were genuinely good scares.
It's got some. I think it's a really good beginner horror movie for kids and teenagers because it's got some genuinely creepy stuff in there, but it doesn't completely mess up your childhood.
Yeah.
I feel like I just said something that was really good. What did I just say?
You said Paddleton?
Paddleton.
That was really
Paddleton from Netflix, the Duplass movie. Mark Duplass and Ray Romano. So good. There are a lot of movies here that I'm like, oh, I heard that was really good. Like Fighting with My Family, I heard was good.
Fighting with My Family
that was 2019?
Probably that's my most underrated film. Florence Pugh is insanely good.
I've heard that Greta is good. I've heard that her smell is good. If it weren't for that title, I might have seen it. I've heard The Last Black Man in San Francisco is really good.
I've heard that's really good as well.
Monos is supposed to be really good. Ready or Not.
That was so good. Did you guys see that?
No, these are Tigers Are Not Afraid. These are all movies that I've heard are really good, but I never bothered with just because, I don't know, I was seeing other stuff.
So I think we're going to wrap it up here. The next episode is going to be all about the top 10 worst movies of 2019, and I have so many fucking things to say about that list of movies. Man, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's some hot garbage.
Yeah. Aaron, Brad, thank you guys so much for joining me on this podcast.
You are so welcome. We're so excited to talk about our worst movies of the year next time. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Also, you didn't put American Hunt on your list, and I have some words.
You didn't put American Hunt on your list either.
Yeah, I'm biased. I can't. But James, He has no bias because I'm sitting right next to him.
American Hunt is my number one movie of the year.
It's my number one movie that barely cost anything.
Actually, I can think of an... Let's see, can I think of a... Oh, shout out to Velocipaster. That one's underrated.
Was that a 2019 movie?
Yes, it was.
Oh.
It was.
I still need to see it.
It was.
You keep talking about this movie.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
No, we had a great time being here.
Absolutely.
So tell everyone where they can find you online. Any new projects that you're working on that you want to talk about?
Yeah. So just Google cats and press enter, and you'll find me.
It's Aaron just like with a smile just outside the theater.
It looks like the poster for Nymphomania. Oh, no. The orgasm posters.
Oh no!
That's what it looks like when you look up cats. You just see.
It's just a collage.
It's just a collage. You can follow me on Instagram at Aaron Mirtes. That's at CATS. It's at Aaron Mirtes, AARONMIRT, like Tom, E like Elizabeth, S like Sunday, and you can follow me on Instagram. That's actually it.
Yeah, that's all you have.
I'm a social media. I changed my Letterboxd name. Did you see that?
I noticed.
I changed my name on Letterboxd so I could shit talk movies. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah. I'm on Twitter, Instagram. Both are Belemjian. Good luck.
Belemjian.
There you go. That's it. I'm also on Letterboxd, nice. So look me up. I'm pretty active on there. I really enjoy it.
If you go on Brad's followers list, and you can guess which one I am.
It's not very well hidden, but it's there.
I don't think people would know it was me.
Well, no, they wouldn't, but now they do.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really about all the social media.
And we're also we just finished our new movie, The Alpha Test, which you need to see. I got to show it to you. It's called The Alpha.
Changed the name.
Yeah. So it's called The Alpha Test. It's a science fiction horror movie. We just did the premiere. It was received really, really, really well, and I'm really pleased with that. My friend Charlie Steed saw it, loved it, which I really.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he loved it. He said it's my best and goriest yet. It is my goriest yet. So it's science fiction that turns splatter, and it's just I'm really, really proud of it. And it comes out later this year. I'm also finishing up my new movie Ouija Craft, which should be out probably in the summer. And then Brad and I are currently developing a movie that we're really excited to show you guys. It's kind of like a chamber thriller, puzzle thriller kind of thing that we've always wanted to do. So we're shooting that probably March-ish. March. Yeah. And then I'm doing a kids movie for High Octane in the early summer. So, yeah, we got a lot going on this year. We're excited. This will be probably our busiest year yet.
You guys can follow me, of course, all over social media at C4 Spoilers. The best way to find everything that we do is at carefulforspoilers.com.
/cats.
You will get links to all of the podcasts on the Careful for Spoilers podcast network. We also write articles on movies, gaming, anime. Again, Brad, Aaron, thank you guys so much for joining me. Listeners, thank you guys for tuning in every single week, and we will see you guys next time.
Sweet dreams.